What if Naruto awakened a silver power from a ruined future? When Hinata falls during Pain's assault, Naruto receives memories of a timeline where everyone was lost, and a power made to destroy gods. But the more he uses it, the closer he becomes to the Hollow King. Like, subscribe, and let's begin.
Chapter 1. The vision at world's end. The sky above Konoha was the color of ash, not gray, not cloudy. Ash. It hung over the village in a dead, unmoving sheet, as if the heavens themselves had been burned and left behind. Where rooftops should have cut familiar shapes against the afternoon light, there was only broken timber, shattered stone, and long trails of dust drifting through the air like smoke from a funeral pyre. Naruto Uzumaki stood in the center of it all and did not breathe. For one impossible second, the world refused to make sense. The village gate was gone. The streets he had run through 1,000 times were gone. The shops that used to turn him away, the alleys where he used to hide with stolen cup noodles, the rooftops where he had shouted dreams too big for anyone to believe, gone. Konoha had become a crater. Behind Naruto, the toads of Mount Myaboku shifted uneasily. Gamabunta's massive pipe hung from his mouth, but even the great boss toad had no joke ready. Fukasaku narrowed his eyes at the destruction. Shima said nothing at all. Naruto's cloak stirred in the wind. He had come back ready to fight. He had not come back ready to see his home like this. Then he saw the bodies. People lay scattered among the ruins. Some moved, some did not. Shinobi dragged civilians from broken walls. Medics shouted until their voices cracked. Somewhere far away, a child cried for someone who did not answer. Something inside Naruto tightened so sharply that it almost felt like a hand closing around his heart. Then the figure in the black cloak stepped forward. Orange hair, metal piercings, rippled eyes that looked like circles thrown into a pond. Pain, the air around him felt wrong, not just dangerous. Empty, cold, like standing at the edge of a cliff and hearing no echo when a stone fell. "So you have returned," Pain said. Naruto's hands curled into fists. "You did this." Pain looked over the destroyed village as if he were judging a lesson already taught. Konoha's suffering will teach the world peace. For a heartbeat, Naruto heard only the crackle of falling debris, then his face hardened. "You destroyed everything," he said quietly, "and you call that peace?" Pain did not answer with anger. That almost made it worse. He spoke like a man explaining rain to a child. Those who do not understand true pain can never understand true peace. Naruto's eyes sharpened. Sage markings burned around them, fierce and steady. "I don't care what you call it," he said. "I'm stopping you!" The first body moved. It came fast, too fast for a normal shinobi, a blur of black cloak and dead eyes. Naruto met it head-on, his body moving with the clean, grounded precision of Sage mode. His fist struck like a hammer dropped from the sky. The body folded backward and crashed through broken stone. Two more rushed him. Naruto spun, ducked beneath a blade, drove a Rasengan into one body's chest, and kicked the other through a wall already barely standing. The impact sent dust bursting outward. For the first time since he had arrived, someone in the ruins shouted his name. "Naruto?" He heard hope in that voice. That hurt almost as much as the destruction, because he could feel the difference already. The villagers were looking at him differently, not like the problem, not like the container, not like the demon brat, like the last wall standing between them and the end. Naruto swallowed that weight and moved. The battle became thunder. Pain attacked with bodies that moved as one mind. One absorbed ninjutsu. One summoned giant beasts, one repaired the others, one ripped at souls, one rained missiles and blades. One stood apart, calm and terrible, the center of the storm. Naruto fought like the hero everyone suddenly needed him to be. He smashed the summoning beasts with Gamabunta and the others. He used taijutsu where ninjutsu failed. He used clones to create openings. He watched, learned, adjusted. His body was stronger than before. His senses sharper. Sage mode let him feel the battlefield in ways he never could have imagined months ago, but Pain was not just strong, Pain was patient. Every time Naruto broke one body, the others shifted. Every mistake was studied. Every burst of anger was punished. Every opening Naruto found closed a second later. Still, Naruto kept moving. He had to. If he stopped, he would see the crater again. If he stopped, he would hear the crying again. If he stopped, he would remember that Jiraiya had died facing these eyes. So he did not stop. He shattered the path that summoned beasts. He destroyed the one that restored the others. He forced the absorber to waste its focus. He used smoke, clones, timing, rage, and stubbornness like they were weapons of their own. For a while, it almost worked. For a while, Naruto Uzumaki was enough. Then the Diva Path raised one hand. Shinra Tensei, the world slammed into him. Naruto hit the ground hard enough to carve a trench through stone. His breath left him in a burst. Sage mode flickered. His bones screamed. Before he could rise, black rods pinned his sleeves, his limbs, his cloak. More rods punched into the ground around him, trapping him in place without needing to pierce deep. He tried to move. His body refused. Pain walked toward him through the dust. "You are strong," Pain said. "But strength without understanding is only resistance." Naruto gritted his teeth. "I understand enough." "No," Pain said. "You still believe you can save everyone." Naruto's eyes burned. "I'm going to try." Pain stopped above him. "That is why you will fail." Naruto pulled against the rods. Chakra sparked. Sage energy surged. But the timing was wrong. His body was tired. His options were narrowing too quickly, and then she stepped between them, white eyes, dark hair, small hands trembling, but raised. Naruto froze. "Hinata!" Hinata Hyuga stood facing Pain. She was breathing hard. Dust streaked her face. Her jacket was torn at one shoulder. She looked terrified, but she did not move aside. Naruto's heart dropped. "Hinata, get out of here!" She did not look back. "I know," she said softly, voice shaking but clear. "I know I'm being selfish." Pain watched her without interest. Hinata stepped forward. "I know I can't beat him." "Hinata, stop." Her hands lifted into the gentle fist stance. "But Naruto-kun," her voice trembled. "I'm not afraid to die protecting you." Everything in Naruto went cold. "No, no, no, no," she charged. Pain moved. It was not a battle. Not really. Hinata's strikes were brave, clean, desperate. She pushed herself past fear, past reason, past the gap between them. For a few shining seconds, she was everything Naruto had ever wanted to be, someone who ran toward danger because someone else needed her. Pain repelled her. She hit the ground and rolled across broken stone. Naruto screamed her name. Hinata forced herself up. Her legs shook. Blood trailed from her mouth. Still, she raised her hands again. Pain tilted his head. Love only deepens pain. Hinata looked back then, only for a second. Her eyes found Naruto's. There was no regret in them. That was what broke him. Pain's black rod came down. Hinata fell. The sound Naruto made was not a word. It was not even human. The world narrowed to her body on the ground. Pain kept speaking. Something about pain, something about understanding, something about peace. Naruto did not hear him. Inside him, Kurama roared. Red chakra exploded. The seal groaned. The crater shook as the first tail erupted behind him, then the second, then more, burning and boiling with hatred so old it had forgotten any other shape. Naruto's skin burned. His teeth sharpened. His thoughts shattered under the weight of fury. Pain stepped back, at the edge of his mind, behind the fox, behind the seal, behind everything Naruto understood about himself. Something else opened its eyes. Not Kurama, not Sage Chakra, not anything born from the shinobi world. Something silver. The moment stretched. A heartbeat became a hallway. A scream became silence. Naruto fell inward and woke in another world. No, not another world, a future. Konoha stood rebuilt, but wrong. The streets were clean. The houses perfect. People moved through them with soft smiles and empty eyes. They walked beneath a red moon that filled the sky like a wound. Naruto stood in the middle of the street, older, taller, wrapped in a torn cloak stained by years of war. Silver hair streaked through his blonde. One eye shone pale and cold. His face was Naruto's, but sharpened by something that had cut away every gentle part of him and left only purpose. The older Naruto looked at him, and the younger Naruto knew his name without being told, the Hollow King. No, Young Naruto whispered. The future answered anyway. Memories poured into him, not one at a time, all at once. The moon's eye plan succeeding, the sky cracking open with a light no one could outrun, his friends standing frozen beneath roots that fed on dreams, Sakura reaching for him and never finishing his name. Kakashi trapped with one visible eye staring at nothing, Shikamaru silent forever. Hinata asleep inside a world where she was happy because reality had been stolen from her, the alliance gone, the villages gone, choice gone. Naruto saw himself survive. That was the cruelest part. He survived. He tore free when others could not, maybe because of Kurama, maybe because of the seal, maybe because of the foreign thing buried in his soul. It did not matter. He woke in a world already lost, and from that day on, survival became punishment. Years flashed through him. Akatsuki remnants hunting him through dead forests. White Zetsu bodies crawling from the earth like the land itself had learned hatred. Obito's mask shattered under a Rasengan that came too late to save anyone. Madara laughing beneath a moon that obeyed him. Black Zetsu whispering. Kaguya descending like a goddess made of hunger. Naruto fought them. Lost, died, lived, lost again. Every defeat carved something into him. Every technique that broke him became knowledge. Every ambush became memory. Every wound became a lesson he never forgot. He learned how chakra moved before it formed. He learned how eyes shifted before genjutsu bloomed. He learned the rhythm of space-time openings, the taste of truth-seeking orbs in the air, the half-second weakness before a Rinnegan technique released. He learned to read, not books, not scrolls. War itself. 1,000 battles carved themselves across his soul until nothing could surprise him anymore, and somewhere in those years, silver woke. It came first as a spark, then a blade, then an aura that erased things the god tree had touched. White Zetsu burned away under it. Truth-seeking orbs cracked. Madara's smile faded. Kaguya bled light. Naruto saw the older version of himself standing alone at the end of everything, silver blade in hand, surrounded by enemies that could no longer rise. He had won. The world was silent. There was no one left to thank him. No one left to pull him back. No one left to remind him what victory was supposed to feel like. The Hollow King stood beneath the dead moon and looked at his own hands. Then he looked across time, at Naruto, at the boy pinned beneath pain. At the exact moment before everything could begin to go wrong, the older Naruto spoke, and his voice sounded like stone dragged across ice. You still have them. Young Naruto trembled. The memories did not stop. They burned into him. Years of training, years of battle. Years of dying and standing up again. Pain's techniques, Obito's timing, Madara's arrogance, Kaguya's hunger, Zetsu's tricks, the shape of the god tree's chakra, the silver blade, the cost, the loneliness, the warning. You still have them, the Hollow King said again, his hand lifted. A silver light gathered in his palm. I had nothing left to protect when I won. Naruto could not move. The older Naruto's expression did not soften. Maybe it no longer knew how, so take it before you lose everything too. The silver light struck. Naruto woke screaming. The red chakra stopped. Not faded, stopped. As if something colder and sharper had cut through the fox's rage and pinned it in place. Inside the seal, Kurama's roar broke off. What is that? The fox snarled. Naruto did not answer. He opened his eyes. They were blue. Then silver bled through them like moonlight through water. Pain paused. For the first time, the diva path looked uncertain. The rods pinning Naruto to the ground began to tremble. A colorless silver aura rose from Naruto's skin. It did not burn like chakra. It did not flare like Kurama's power. It moved like cold fire, silent and thin and impossibly sharp. The air changed around it. Dust stopped falling. Broken stones lifted an inch from the ground, not pulled by chakra, but rejected by the pressure of something that did not belong. Naruto stood. The rods snapped. Pain raised his hand. Shinra. Naruto moved before the word finished. He was not faster in the normal way. It was worse than speed. He was already where Pain's defense failed before Pain had chosen to defend. Silver formed along Naruto's right hand, stretching outward into the shape of a long, curved blade, not metal, not chakra, but something between memory and judgment, Silver Fang. Pain released the repulsive force. Naruto leaned into the one place inside the blast where the pressure thinned. Impossible. No one should know that opening existed. Naruto cut through the force. The silver blade did not slice air, it sliced the technique. Shinra Tensei split apart around him like cloth under a knife. Pain's eyes widened. Naruto's foot hit the ground in front of him. "Don't talk," Naruto said. He struck. The diva path flew backward, crashing through stone, but Naruto was already moving again. The remaining bodies converged. The Preta path reached for him, ready to absorb ninjutsu. Naruto did not use ninjutsu. Silver Fang passed through its guard and carved the black receivers from its body in a single motion. The body collapsed before it understood it had lost. The Asura path opened its mechanical arms. Naruto saw every missile before it fired. He remembered this, not from now, from years ahead. From a battlefield where the sky had been red and he had lost 3 fingers to a weapon hidden under a false opening. He stepped left, then forward, then under. The missiles launched into empty air. His palm touched the Asura path's chest. Silver pulsed. The body came apart in a clean burst of light and broken mechanisms. The human path tried to flank him. Naruto turned his head before it moved. "I know that one too." He did not sound angry. That frightened him. Some part of Naruto heard his own voice and did not recognize the calm inside it. He crossed the distance and shattered the body with a single elbow. The Naraka path was already destroyed. The animal path gone. The Preta path falling. The Asura path broken. Only the Diva path rose again from the dust. Its cloak was torn. Its face cracked at the jaw. But those rippled eyes remained fixed on Naruto. "What are you?" Pain asked. Naruto stopped. For half a second the question landed deeper than Pain could have known. "What are you, boy, Jinchuriki, student, weapon, survivor, Hollow King?" "No." Naruto's jaw tightened. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki." Silver flared behind him like wings trying to form and failing. "And I'm done listening to people who hurt others and call it peace." Pain lifted both hands. The ground under Naruto's feet exploded upward as gravity twisted. Naruto saw the pattern before it completed. The reed unfolded in his mind. Not a thought, not a strategy, a memory clicking into place. Pain would pull first, then compress, then use the delay after attraction to strike with a receiver. If Naruto resisted directly, the force would tear through his stance. If he jumped, he would be dragged off balance. If he used clones, they would become projectiles. The answer was already there. Naruto let himself be pulled. Pain's hand twitched, ready to strike. Naruto spun with the force instead of against it, Silver Fang cutting a bright arc through the dust. The black receiver snapped in two before it reached him. Naruto's shoulder slammed into Pain's chest, driving him backward. The Diva path tried to recover. Naruto placed 2 fingers against its forehead. For a single instant, he saw beyond it, not with his eyes, through the receivers. Through the chakra signal, across distance. To a hidden body in a dark place, thin and exhausted, red-haired, coughing blood, bound to machines and grief. Nagato, Naruto's rage flickered. There, a person, not just Pain, not just a monster, a person buried under all this. For one breath, the Hollow King inside him whispered that it did not matter. Enemies were enemies. Threats were removed. Pain had hurt Hinata. Destroyed Konoha. Killed Jiraiya. End it. Naruto's fingers trembled. Hinata's body lay behind him. The crater stretched around him. The silver blade hummed. End it. Then another memory surfaced. Not from the Hollow King, from himself. Jiraiya laughing too loudly. Jiraiya eating popsicles with him beneath a quiet sky. Jiraiya saying that true peace was not easy and that Naruto would have to find his own answer. Naruto sucked in a breath. His hand closed into a fist. He punched the Diva path so hard it shattered against the ground. The body stopped moving. Silence fell over the crater. For 10 seconds, no one breathed. Then the silver aura around Naruto flickered. His knees nearly buckled. The power did not feel like chakra drain. Chakra exhaustion was heavy, familiar. This was different. It felt like something behind his ribs had been scraped raw, like he had spent years awake in the span of minutes. Like every calm breath cost more than anger ever had, he forced himself to stay standing. The villagers stared. The surviving shinobi stared. The toads stared. Even the wind seemed afraid to touch him. Naruto turned. Hinata, the silver vanished from his blade, but not from his eyes. He stumbled toward her, heart hammering so hard he could barely hear anything else. Hinata, she was alive, barely, but alive. Her breathing was shallow. Her face was pale. The wound was serious but not final, not yet. Naruto dropped beside her. His hands hovered, terrified to touch her wrong. "Stay with me," he whispered. "Please, please stay with me." A medic rushed forward, then froze when Naruto looked up. For one terrible second, Naruto realized they were afraid of him, not pain. His throat tightened. "Help her," he said. The medic snapped out of it and ran to Hinata's side. Others followed. Green healing chakra bloomed over her wound. Naruto backed away slowly. His hands shook. He looked down at them. No blood, no claws, no red chakra. Still, he could feel it. The silver not gone. Sleeping under his skin like a blade under a pillow. And behind it, deeper, colder, the memory of a future where he had won everything except the right to feel human. Kurama stirred inside the seal. The fox's voice was lower now, less mocking, more wary. "Brat," Naruto closed his eyes. "What?" "That thing inside you," Kurama growled. "It is not mine, it is not yours, and it is not chakra," Naruto swallowed. "I know, you do not know anything." For once, Naruto did not argue, because Kurama was right. He knew too much and not enough. He knew battles he had never fought, graves he had never dug, enemies he had never met. He knew the exact sound of a world ending under a red moon, but he did not know what had just happened to him. He did not know how to explain it. He did not know how much of himself had come back from that future, and that scared him more than pain ever had. A voice called across the ruins. "Naruto?" Sakura, she ran toward him, dust-covered, eyes wide with fear and relief. Behind her, Kakashi was nowhere to be seen. That thought stabbed him, but before it could settle, Sakura reached him and grabbed his shoulders. "What happened? What was that? Are you hurt?" Naruto looked at her. For a moment he saw another Sakura, older, still reaching for him. Frozen beneath pale roots before she could finish saying his name, his breath caught. Sakura's grip tightened. "Naruto," he forced the memory down. "I'm fine," he lied. Sakura did not believe him. Of course she didn't. But she looked past him and saw Hinata being treated, saw the broken bodies of pain, saw the villagers beginning to gather, and her expression shifted into something too complicated for one word: relief, fear, awe, concern, all of it. "Naruto," she whispered, "your eyes." He looked away. "They'll go back." He did not know if that was true. A shadow passed over them as Gamabunta leaned closer. "Kid," the boss toad rumbled, "you got some explaining to do." Naruto almost laughed. It would have been easier if he could. Instead, he looked toward the edge of the crater. Somewhere beyond the ruins, hidden beneath rock and paper and pain, Nagato was still alive. The Diva path was destroyed, but the real enemy had not fallen. In the future memory, Nagato had died many ways, killed by exhaustion, killed by betrayal, killed by Naruto's silver blade, killed by choices that came too late. But here now Naruto could still choose, his fists clenched. "I need to find the real one." Sakura stepped in front of him. "You can barely stand." "I have to." "You just fought pain." Naruto's silver eye light flickered, and he knows why. Sakura went quiet. Naruto hated how his voice sounded. Too steady, too certain, too much like the older version of himself. He softened it on purpose. "Please," he said. "I need to talk to him. Not defeat him, not end him. Talk." The word felt like a rope tied around Naruto's own wrist, keeping him from drifting too far toward the cold place inside. Sakura searched his face. Whatever she saw there frightened her, but she stepped aside. "Then come back," she said. Naruto blinked. Sakura's eyes shone, but her voice did not break. "Don't just save everyone and disappear inside your own head. Come back." The silver under his skin pulsed once. Naruto nodded. "I will." He turned toward the source of the chakra signal. Each step hurt, not his muscles, not his bones. something deeper. The silver inheritance had given him victory like a blade shoved into his hands, but every second after the battle made the cost clearer. It was not a power that wanted to sit quietly beside his chakra. It did not flow through pathways. It pressed against him from the inside, measuring the shape of his soul and finding places it could sharpen. He walked anyway, across broken streets, past villagers who whispered his name, past shinobi who moved aside without realizing they were doing it. Some looked at him like a hero. Some looked at him like a weapon. Naruto did not know which one hurt more. Above the crater, hidden among the splintered trees beyond the village edge, someone watched him go. The figure stood perfectly still, half covered by shadow, wearing a dark cloak woven with patterns that looked almost like roots. His hair was pale, not white exactly, but the washed-out color of old bone beneath moonlight. His eyes were narrow and calm, the eyes of someone who had been waiting so long that surprise had become a forgotten language. When Naruto awakened, the figure had felt it, not chakra, not nature energy, not the fox. Silver. A thin smile touched his mouth. "So," he murmured, voice barely louder than the wind through dead leaves, "a root has sprouted where no root should be." Far below, Naruto continued walking toward Nagato. The stranger's smile faded into something colder. "Too early," he said. "Too loud, too human." He looked at the ruined village, the broken bodies of Pain, the medics gathered around the Hyuga girl, and the boy with silver still burning faintly in his eyes. Then the figure turned away, disappearing into the trees like a shadow pulled underground. "The cycle has changed," he whispered. And for the first time in centuries, Suo began to move. Chapter 2. The first root Naruto found Nagato in the hollow of a dead tree. At first he almost missed him. The chakra signal was there, thin and strained, stretched through the black receivers like a thread pulled too tight. Naruto followed it across the broken edge of Konoha, past shattered stone and burning timber, past places where trees had been torn from the ground by Pain's attack, until the world grew quieter. Too quiet, the kind of quiet that came after screaming. The paper flowers led him the rest of the way. They drifted through the air in pale sheets, soft and beautiful against the ruin. Naruto watched one brush past his shoulder. It should have looked harmless, delicate even, but his new memories reacted before he did. Paper clone, paper shuriken, paper bombs hidden in folds, Conan. The name came with 100 images that were not his and were his at the same time. A woman made of paper standing under gray rain. A battlefield where white flowers turned red. A future where she died buying time for a hope that had already failed. Naruto stopped. "I'm not here to fight," he called. The paper shifted. Conan appeared ahead of him, her orange eyes sharp and tired, blue hair framing a face that looked carved from grief. She stood between Naruto and the tree hollow without blinking. "You destroyed the 6 paths," she said. Naruto's fingers twitched. "Destroyed." The word landed heavily. "I stopped them." "You stopped Yahiko's body." Naruto flinched. The future memories answered before Conan could. Yahiko, Nagato, Conan, 3 orphans under the rain, Jiraiya's students, hope twisted into a weapon. He had known pieces of it before, now he knew too much. Conan's eyes narrowed at the look on his face. "What did you see?" Naruto swallowed. "I saw what happens if this doesn't end." For the first time, something in Conan's expression changed. Not trust, not softness, recognition, because she knew what it meant to see the future as a grave. A harsh cough echoed from inside the tree. "Conan," a weak voice said. "Let him come." Conan did not move right away. Naruto waited. The old Naruto inside his memories did not wait. The Hollow King would have stepped through her, not because he hated her, but because he had forgotten how to let anyone stand in his way. Naruto held still on purpose. That choice mattered. Finally, Conan stepped aside. Inside the hollow, the air smelled of damp bark, metal, and blood. Nagato sat bound to a strange machine, his body so thin Naruto's first thought was that the man looked less alive than the corpses he had controlled. Red hair hung around his hollow face. Black receivers pierced his back. His Rinnegan eyes, so terrifying through pain, looked different here. Tired. Human, Naruto stood before him, and for a moment neither spoke. Then Nagato looked at Naruto's eyes. "The power I felt at the end," he said. "That was not the Nine Tails. No, Sage Chakra." "No," Nagato studied him. Naruto forced himself not to look away. The silver had faded from his eyes, mostly, but not completely. A pale ring still glowed around his pupils when his emotions shifted too quickly. His body felt hollowed out from the inside, as if the battle had taken something no amount of rest could restore. Nagato breathed in slowly. "Then you have also been given pain." Naruto's hands clenched. "Don't." Konan shifted behind him. Nagato did not. "You hate me." "Yes," Naruto said. The word came out before he could soften it. Nagato nodded faintly. "You should." Naruto stepped closer. "You killed my master." "Yes." "You destroyed my home." "Yes." "You almost killed Hinata." Nagato's eyes lowered. "Yes." Naruto's breath shook. The silver stirred. For one dangerous second, he saw the future again, Nagato's body falling, silver blade withdrawing, the war moving on because the dead could not argue. His fingers curled until his nails bit his palms. "But Jiraiya believed in you," Naruto said. Nagato's face changed, just a little. "Enough." Naruto pushed forward before the Hollow King's cold answer could rise again. "He believed in all of us. In some stupid, impossible piece nobody knew how to build yet, and you took his words and turned them into this." Nagato's eyes closed. "I wanted the world to understand suffering." "The world already understands suffering?" Naruto snapped. "Look outside, look at what you did. Look at what every village keeps doing. You think pain is some secret only you learned?" His voice cracked. The tree hollow trembled, silver flickered at his shoulder like a thin flame. Konan's paper shifted around her fingers. Nagato opened his eyes again. "And your answer?" Naruto froze. In the future he had answers. Terrible ones, efficient ones. Kill Obito before he begins. Break Kabuto before the Edo army rises. Hunt Zetsu to extinction. Strike Madara while he is still a corpse. Seal Kaguya before she speaks. Cut every threat down before it blooms. Those answers worked. That was the worst part. They worked, and they left him standing alone beneath a silent moon, victorious and empty. Naruto looked at Nagato and hated that the man had asked the one question he did not know how to survive. "My answer," Naruto said slowly, "is that I don't get to become like you just because I'm hurt." Nagato stared at him. Naruto continued, each word pulled from somewhere deeper than strength. "I don't know how to fix the world yet. I don't know how to stop every war. I don't know how to forgive you today. Maybe I can't. But if I start deciding peace means breaking everyone before they can hurt me, then I'm not ending the cycle. I'm just wearing a different cloak." Silence filled the hollow. Konan looked down. Nagato's breathing grew rougher. Then he smiled, not happily, not peacefully, but like a man seeing, at the very end, the road he had stepped away from. "You are very much like him," Nagato whispered. Naruto did not need to ask who Jiraiya. Nagato lifted his trembling hands. Konan's eyes widened. "Nagato." He ignored her. "Naruto Uzumaki," he said. "If you are still willing to carry that answer after seeing the worst possible future, then perhaps my teacher was not wrong." The Rinnegan pulsed. Naruto's future memories screamed a warning. Rin rebirth. Life returned at the cost of the user. He knew the hand signs. The chakra pull. The way the technique tore through Nagato's already failing body. He knew, and for one mad second, he almost lunged to stop him. Because Naruto did not want another person dying in front of him, not even this one, but Nagato had chosen. Green light rose from the ruined village. Naruto turned. Across the crater, breath returned to bodies that had gone still. Civilians gasped awake beneath broken walls. Shinobi opened their eyes with impossible confusion. Mothers clutched children they had already mourned. Medics sobbed over patients who were no longer dead. Konoha inhaled. Nagato exhaled. His body slumped. Konan caught him before he fell completely. Naruto stood frozen, watching another death settle into the shape of the day. No victory felt clean anymore, not after the future. Maybe it never had. Konan held Nagato like the last piece of a world that had already drowned. Her face did not break, but her hands shook. Naruto bowed his head. I'm sorry, he said. Conan looked at him. For a moment, the hollow seemed to hold 3 generations of Jiraiya's failed dream at once. Then Conan closed Nagato's eyes. Then make his last choice matter. Naruto nodded. I will. He meant it. He just did not know how many promises a person could carry before they became chains. By the time Naruto returned to Konoha, the village had already begun turning him into a symbol. He saw it happening before anyone said a word. People stared from the ruins with wet eyes and trembling smiles. Children pointed. Shinobi who had once looked through him now stepped aside as if he were something sacred. A man Naruto did not recognize fell to his knees and thanked him for saving his wife. Then others followed. Naruto? You saved us. It was him! The hero of Konoha? The words rolled toward him like a wave. Hero. Naruto had dreamed about that word for years. He had shouted about becoming Hokage until adults laughed and children repeated it just to mock him. He had imagined the village finally looking at him and seeing someone worth cheering for. Now they did, and it felt wrong, not because he did not want it. Because the Hollow King remembered a world where cheers ended, where admiration became expectation, where every person he saved became another ghost waiting behind his eyes. Sakura found him at the edge of the gathering crowd. She did not smile first. She looked him over, searching for injuries, for silver, for the things she had glimpsed in him during the fight. Then she punched him in the arm, hard. Oh! Don't ever scare us like that again, Naruto stared. For one blessed second, everything almost felt normal. Then Sakura hugged him. The crowd erupted. Naruto froze in her arms. The older memories did not know what to do with warmth. So Naruto chose to remember. He hugged her back, not tightly, not dramatically, just enough to prove to himself that his hands could still hold without breaking. Tsunade summoned him before sunset. The Hokage Tower was gone, so they met in a half-collapsed command tent near the edge of the crater. Lanterns hung from wooden beams. Maps of the village were spread across crates. Injured shinobi moved in and out, carrying reports, casualty lists, supply requests, evacuation plans. Tsunade sat behind a rough table, one arm bandaged, her face pale with exhaustion. Shizune stood beside her. Kakashi leaned near the entrance, alive but visibly drained, his visible eye resting on Naruto with quiet intensity. Yamato stood in the corner, expression tight. Naruto's heart lifted when he saw Kakashi. Then it dropped because the future showed him Kakashi trapped beneath the red moon, awake and not awake forever. Kakashi noticed the flicker in Naruto's face. Of course he did. Tsunade spoke first. Sit. Naruto sat. No one spoke for a moment. Outside, Konoha continued to cry and celebrate at the same time. Tsunade folded her hands. I'm going to ask you once, Naruto. What happened during the fight? Naruto looked at the table. I don't know how to explain it. Try. He did, not all of it, not at first. He told them that something awakened when Hinata was hurt, that it was not Kurama, not Sage Mode, not normal chakra, that he received memories from a future version of himself. Shizune's face went pale. Yamato straightened. Kakashi did not move, but his eyes sharpened. Tsunade's voice lowered. What kind of future? Naruto's hands gripped his knees, the worst one. The tent seemed to grow colder. Naruto told them about the Red Moon, about everyone trapped, about the war after the world ended, about Akatsuki, Zetsu, Madara, and a woman from beyond the history they knew, a name that came with white hair and impossible eyes. Kaguya. He spoke carefully. He left out some deaths. He left out the exact number of times his future self had died and returned. He left out the emptiness at the end because he could still feel it listening, but he told enough. When he finished, nobody spoke. Tsunade's face had gone hard in the way it did when grief became duty. Kakashi broke the silence. And the silver power, Naruto looked down at his palm. It's called silver release, Jinten, but it's not like any chakra nature I know. It hurts things connected to the god tree. Zetsu, the Ten-Tails. Maybe the Rinnegan's deeper source, maybe more. God tree, Shizune repeated softly. Tsunade shut her eyes for 1 second. When she opened them, she was Hokage again. Can you control it? Naruto hesitated. That was answer enough. Yamato's voice was careful. Can the Nine-Tails influence it? No, Naruto said. Kurama hates it. Everyone noticed the name. Naruto did too, only after he said it, Kurama. The fox had been a monster for most of his life, a disaster, a hatred sealed in his belly, but the future memories knew him differently. Ally, friend, partner, prisoner, a headache throbbed behind Naruto's eyes. Tsunade leaned forward. Naruto, can this power hurt the village? The answer should have been simple. No, I would never. But Naruto had seen his own silver blade cut through things stronger than mountains. He had seen himself stand in fields where nothing remained. Yes, he said quietly, if I lose control. Shizune covered her mouth. Yamato's wooden restraining seals shifted beneath his sleeve. Kakashi watched Naruto, not like a threat, but like a student standing at the edge of something too high to climb alone. Tsunade's jaw tightened. Thank you for telling the truth. Naruto blinked. He had expected suspicion, fear, orders. Tsunade stood, despite the way Shizune immediately moved to stop her. The council will panic. The elders will want reports. The other villages will hear rumors no matter what we do. Danzo, if he still has enough nerve to crawl out of whatever hole he hid in during the attack, will try to turn this into a weapon. Naruto's stomach twisted. Tsunade slammed one fist onto the table, over my dead body. The tent went still. Tsunade looked him straight in the eye. You saved this village today, not the power. You, until I see proof otherwise, that is how this office treats you. Something in Naruto's chest loosened painfully. Granny, don't make me regret it, she snapped. He almost smiled, almost. Then the ground beneath the tent whispered. Naruto's head snapped up. No one else reacted. There, a vibration too subtle for normal senses, not chakra, not nature energy, something moving under the soil like a thought through roots. The silver inside him stirred. Kakashi noticed his reaction. Naruto, the lanterns flickered. A voice spoke from outside the tent. How generous, also foolish. Every shinobi in the tent moved. Kakashi's hand went to his kunai. Yamato's arms lifted. Tsunade's chakra spiked so violently the table cracked. A man stepped through the tent flap as if none of that mattered. He was pale, narrow, and calm. His cloak was dark, threaded with root-like patterns that seemed to shift when Naruto did not look directly at them. His hair fell loosely around his face, colorless as old ash. His eyes were not the Rinnegan, not the Sharingan, not the Byakugan, they were plain. That made them worse, because they looked at Naruto as if they had already measured the price of his life and found it acceptable. Kakashi vanished, a kunai pressed to the stranger's throat, or it should have. The man tilted his head a fraction before Kakashi moved, and the blade passed through a collapsing layer of bark and paper-thin root fibers. His real body stood 3 steps to the left. Kakashi's eye narrowed. Yamato slammed both palms together. Wood style! The stranger lifted one finger. The ground beneath Yamato's feet opened with pale roots that were not Yamato's. They wrapped his ankles, not crushing, only holding him in place. Yamato's face went rigid. That's not Hashirama's chakra. No, the stranger said. It is older than his little miracle. Tsunade's fist came down. The stranger actually moved then. He flowed backward, not fast so much as already aware of every line of attack. Tsunade's punch smashed the ground where he had been, splitting the tent floor open. Naruto was on his feet. Silver flickered around his fingers. The stranger's gaze shifted to him. There it is. Naruto's voice came out low. Who are you? The man smiled faintly, Suo. The name meant nothing to Naruto. The future memories offered no answer. That was wrong. The reed searched instinctively, reaching for a catalog of threats, techniques, enemies, patterns. Nothing, an empty page. Suo's smile sharpened. Good, you noticed. Naruto raised his hand. Silver fang formed halfway, unstable and bright. Tsunade barked. Naruto, wait! Suo stepped forward. Show me how much of the dead future you brought back. Naruto moved. He did not mean to attack with full force. Not inside a command tent, not with injured people nearby. But Suo had roots under Yamato, had dodged Kakashi, had spoken like he knew too much. Naruto closed the distance and cut low with silver fang. Suo did not block. His arms split open into pale root strands, letting the blade pass through empty space. Then the strand snapped shut around Naruto's wrist. Pain flashed through him, not physical, spiritual. The roots did not drain chakra. They pressed against the silver itself. Naruto gasped. Suo leaned close. Interesting, still raw. Naruto drove a knee into Suo's stomach, or tried to. Suo's body folded unnaturally around the strike, like a tree bending in wind, then snapped back with his palm against Naruto's chest. A pulse went through Naruto. The tent vanished. For half a heartbeat, he saw roots under the world, not tree roots. Not wood style, something vast and pale beneath continents. A memory of a tree that had never grown in Konoha but had touched everything that called itself chakra. Naruto staggered. Kakashi threw lightning. Suo turned his head. The Chidori current hit a wall of pale bark and vanished into it, not absorbed like the Preta path, but grounded, dispersed through countless unseen threads beneath the soil. Too modern, Suo said. Tsunade charged again. This time Suo looked annoyed. He touched 2 fingers to the air. The tent floor erupted. Roots rose everywhere. Kakashi cut 3. Yamato seized control of 2 and grimaced as if grabbing burning wire. Tsunade tore through a dozen with raw strength. Shizune pulled medical staff back. Naruto saw an opening, not from the reed, from instinct. He formed a Rasengan in one hand and Silver Fang in the other. Suo's eyes brightened. Do not blend them. Naruto ignored him. He thrust forward. The Rasengan hit first. Suo caught it in his palm, then Silver Fang followed. The 2 powers crossed for 1 second. Naruto's whole body screamed. The Rasengan collapsed. Silver release flared wild, chewing through Naruto's stamina like fire through paper. His vision went white at the edges. He heard Kurama snarl from behind the seal. "Idiot brat, that thing is eating through you." Naruto dropped to 1 knee. Suo stepped back, his palms smoking with thin silver cracks. For the first time he looked impressed. Then the cracks closed. "You are fortunate," Suo said. "If you had done that with the fox's chakra instead of a simple Rasengan, you might have hollowed yourself out on the floor." Naruto forced himself up. "What are you?" Suo considered him. "A failed beginning." "That's not an answer. It is the only honest one you are ready for." Tsunade planted herself between Suo and Naruto. "Enough." Suo looked at her as if remembering she existed. "You are very protective of him. He's a Konoha shinobi. He is a beacon now." The word hit Naruto harder than the fight. Suo turned his gaze back to him. "You felt it, didn't you? When the silver woke, the world felt back." Naruto said nothing. Suo's voice softened, which somehow made it colder. "The power you carry was made to kill things that descend from the God tree. That means every root, branch, fruit, husk, vessel, and god touched by that lineage can feel you when you shine brightly enough." Kakashi's eye narrowed. "God tree again." Suo smiled without humor. "You children built an entire civilization on stolen fruit and called the branches jutsu." Tsunade's fist tightened. "Explain." Now, Suo looked around the ruined tent, then toward the crater beyond it. "Your enemy is not Akatsuki. Akatsuki is a symptom. Madara is a symptom. The masked man is a symptom. Even the beast sealed inside the boy is a severed echo of something older." Inside Naruto, Kurama went very still. Suo continued. "The God tree came before your villages, before your clans, before your polite little histories. It fed, it bore fruit. A woman ate that fruit and became the first great distortion of this world. Her blood became legend, her sons became doctrine, their descendants became clans, and every war since has been children fighting over sparks from a stolen sun." Nobody spoke. The name rose in Naruto's mind before Suo said it. "Kaguya," Naruto whispered. Suo's eyes shifted to him. "Yes." Tsunade looked at Naruto. "You mentioned that name." Naruto nodded slowly. "In the future she came back." "She will again," Suo said. "Sooner now." Naruto's stomach dropped. "Because of me." Suo did not soften the blow. "Yes." Sakura's warning echoed in his head. "Come back." Naruto's fist shook. "I didn't ask for this." "No," Suo said, "but you used it loudly." Anger flashed through Naruto. Pain was going to kill everyone. "And so you survived the moment by poisoning the next one. That is how curses work." Silver sparked at Naruto's shoulders. Kakashi took a step closer, not threatening, grounding. Suo noticed. You still have attachments. Good, they will slow the hollowing. Naruto's eyes widened. What did you say? The Hollow King, Suo said. The tent went cold. Naruto's mouth went dry. He had not said that name aloud. Suo watched his reaction. So the future remnant called itself that. Fitting. Naruto lunged. This time it was pure anger. Suo moved aside, caught Naruto's sleeve, and tapped 2 fingers against his wrist. The silver blade shattered. Naruto's knees hit the ground. He could still breathe, still move. But the silver release vanished like a flame pinched between fingers. Panic surged. The reed offered nothing, no counter. No memory, no solution. Suo crouched in front of him. Lesson 1, he said. The memories you inherited are a map of a road already traveled. I am not on that road. Naruto glared at him. Suo's voice stayed calm. That means I can kill you. Tsunade's chakra exploded. Suo did not look away from Naruto. But I am not here to kill you. Then why are you here? Naruto spat. Suo stood, to see whether the root that sprouted inside you is worth cultivating or cutting out. Yamato struggled against the pale roots, and who decided that was your choice? Suo looked at him. The same people who decided children should be born carrying demons in their stomachs. The same people who decided eyes were worth murdering brothers for. The same people who decided the moon was a suitable prison for a goddess. His gaze swept the tent. Everyone makes choices for the future. Mine are simply older. Naruto forced himself to stand without silver. What do you want from me? For now, Suo turned toward the exit. Recover, breathe, cry if you still know how. Let the soul stamina return on its own. Do not try to refill it with food, sleep, or the fox. That will not work. Naruto hated how useful the warning was. Suo paused at the torn flap. And do not fuse silver release with Kurama's chakra unless you are ready to become less yourself each time. Kurama growled. Naruto's hand moved unconsciously to his stomach. How do you know all this? Suo looked back. Because before there was a god tree, there were attempts to make one. The roots around Yamato dissolved. The tent's torn fabric fluttered. Suo was gone, not vanished in smoke, not body flicker. Gone into the ground. For several seconds, nobody moved. Then Tsunade punched what remained of the table so hard it became splinters. I hate mysterious old men, Kakashi sighed. Technically, he didn't say he was old. Tsunade glared at him. Not the time. Naruto might have laughed on another day. Instead, he stared at the ground where Suo had disappeared. The reed had failed, completely. Against pain, the inherited memories had made Naruto feel untouchable. Every movement, every technique, every answer had been waiting for him. Against Suo, there had been nothing, no future memory. No perfect counter, no certainty, only a warning, I can kill you. Naruto looked at his hands, they were shaking again. This time he was glad. Shaking meant fear. Fear meant he was still human enough to care what happened next. Outside the tent, the village cheered for him. Inside, the truth settled heavier than any praise. Pain had been defeated. Konoha had survived. But somewhere beyond the village, beneath soil and shadow, Suo had started moving. And far away, in a place masked by darkness and old plans, another figure felt the same silver flare that Suo had followed. A man in an orange spiral mask stood among black trees, one sharing and glowing in the hollow of his face. White Zetsu rose from the ground beside him. That was new. Zetsu said. Obito said nothing. He had felt the disturbance from miles away, not Ninetales, not Sage Mode, not Rinnegan, something that had cut through Pain's bodies too quickly. Something that made the Zetsu half of his army recoil like worms under sunlight. Pain failed, White Zetsu said. Obito's hand tightened. Pain was not supposed to fail like this, not yet, not before the Ninetales was taken, not before the board was ready, but plans were living things. They adapted or died. What do we do? Zetsu asked. Obito stared toward Konoha. In the old plan, patience had been useful. Now patience looked like weakness. If the Ninetales has become something that can threaten the tree, Obito said, then we move before it grows. Black Zetsu's voice slid from the darkness, low and pleased. The silver chakra is dangerous. Obito glanced down. Black Zetsu did not usually sound pleased when speaking of danger. "You know what it is?" "Not fully," Black Zetsu said, "but Mother will hate it." Obito's visible eye narrowed. "That was enough. Then we accelerate everything." White Zetsu tilted his head. "The war," Obito turned away. "The war." Kabuto, the Jinchuriki, all of it. The forest went quiet around him. "Tell the others the timetable has changed." Far behind him, in the direction of Konoha, the last light of day faded over the ruined village. The silver had awakened. And the world, sensing a blade made to cut its oldest root, began sharpening its teeth in answer. Chapter 3. The Curse of Silver. For 3 days after Pain's assault, Konoha called Naruto a hero. For 3 days, Naruto wished they would stop. It was not because he hated the cheers. A part of him still wanted them. The younger part, the lonely part, the boy who had once sat on the swing outside the academy and watched parents pull their children away as if loneliness were contagious. That boy heard the villagers shouting his name now, saw people smile through tears when he passed, felt hands reach out just to touch his sleeve, and ached in a way that was almost joy. Almost, but every cheer carried a shadow, because the Hollow King remembered what came after cheers. He remembered villages begging him to save them. Friends looking at him like the answer to every impossible war. Enemies hunting the people near him because hurting them was the only way to slow him down. He remembered being loved too late. And he remembered standing at the end of the world with no one left to say his name. So when people bowed in the street, Naruto smiled. When children ran up to him with bright eyes, he laughed and ruffled their hair. When old women pressed food into his hands and thanked him for bringing back their sons, he bowed his head and said he was glad they were safe. He did everything a hero was supposed to do. Then he went behind a half-collapsed wall where nobody could see him, leaned his forehead against the stone, and shook until the silver stopped crawling under his skin. Silver release did not recover like chakra. That was the first lesson after Suo. Naruto learned it the ugly way. He ate until Sakura accused him of trying to bankrupt the emergency kitchens. Nothing changed. He slept 12 hours and woke up feeling like he had been awake for years. He tried meditation, but the moment he forced himself calm, the silver inside him tightened like a wire around his heart and began burning faster. That was the worst part. Calm made it worse. Sage training had taught him stillness, balance, control. The answer had always been to breathe, settle, become a mountain with a heartbeat. Silver release punished him for that. The more controlled he tried to be, the more it scraped at him. But when he panicked, when something truly frightened him, the silver moved easier, slower, as if desperation was the shape it understood best. Naruto hated that. Power should not reward fear. Power should not feel more natural. When his heart was breaking, on the 4th morning, he visited Hinata. The hospital had been rebuilt only in pieces. The main building still stood, but several walls had cracked during Pain's attack, so the patients were spread between rooms, tents, and temporary wooden extensions made by Yamato's exhausted clones. Hinata lay near a window covered by a white curtain that moved gently in the breeze. Her face was pale, but her breathing was steady. Bandages wrapped around her torso beneath the blanket. Her dark hair spilled over the pillow. Naruto stood outside the door for almost a full minute before entering. He had fought Pain. He had broken the 6 paths. He had looked into a future where the world ended, but walking into that room scared him more. Hinata turned her head when he stepped in. "Naruto-kun." Her voice was soft but alive. Something inside him loosened so quickly it hurt. "Hey," he said. It was the stupidest thing he could have said. "Hey." Like she had not nearly died in front of him. Like the sight of her falling had not torn open a power from another life and another future. Like he did not still see the black rod coming down every time he closed his eyes. Hinata smiled anyway. That almost broke him. He walked to the chair beside her bed and sat down carefully, as if sudden movement might shatter the quiet. "How are you feeling?" "Better," she said. "Sakura-san said I'll recover if I rest." "Good." Silence. Naruto stared at his hands. Hinata watched him. He tried to speak 3 times before the words came. I'm sorry, Hinata blinked. For what? Naruto looked up stunned. For what? His voice cracked. Hinata, you almost died because of me. Her eyes softened. No, pain was there for me. Pain attacked the village, Hinata said gently. I chose to stand. Naruto's jaw tightened. I should have been strong enough before you had to. Hinata lowered her gaze for a moment. She looked like the shy girl who used to faint when he stood too close. Then she looked back at him, and there was something stronger there. Naruto-kun, she said, if you blame yourself for every person who chooses to protect you, then you are saying our choices don't belong to us. He stared at her. The words hit deep, too deep, because that was exactly what the Hollow King had done, not at first, not loudly. But slowly, over years, he had begun treating everyone else's love as something he had to prevent. Sakura could not fight because she might die. Kakashi could not help because he might be taken. Hinata could not stand beside him because he had already seen her fall once. He had called it protection. At the end, it had left him alone. Naruto swallowed hard. I don't want anyone else getting hurt because of what woke up in me. Hinata's fingers moved slightly against the blanket. Then don't carry it alone. The silver inside him stirred, not violently, not coldly. Just a faint pulse, like it had heard something unfamiliar. Naruto laughed once under his breath. I'm not good at that. Hinata smiled. I know. He looked offended for half a second. Then somehow he smiled too. It felt small, but it was his. That evening Kurama spoke to him, not in a roar. Not in a threat. A growl from deep inside the seal. Brat. Naruto sat cross-legged on the floor of a temporary room Tsunade had ordered guarded but not locked. That distinction mattered more than Naruto wanted to admit. He closed his eyes. The sewer-like space of the seal opened around him. Water covered the floor. Pipes stretched into darkness. Behind the massive bars, Kurama's eyes burned like twin moons of hatred, but even that hatred seemed wary now. The fox watched Naruto as if the boy had become a cage with something else trapped inside. You're staring, Naruto said. Kurama bared his teeth. You brought an infection into my prison, Naruto frowned. It was already there, since I was born, I think. Dormant, Kurama said. Sleeping filth is still filth. Naruto walked closer to the bars. You know anything about it? Kurama's tails shifted, sending ripples through the water. It smells like death that learned patience. Naruto's stomach tightened. That's not helpful. It was not meant to be comforting. Naruto looked down. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Kurama said, when you used it, it touched my chakra. Naruto remembered Suo's warning. Do not fuse silver release with Kurama's chakra unless you are ready to become less yourself each time. I didn't mean to. Meaning does not matter. Naruto looked up. Kurama leaned closer to the bars, voice lower. My chakra is hatred refined by centuries. Your sage mode is life borrowed from the world. This silver thing is neither. It does not flow. It consumes direction. It turns purpose into a blade. Naruto was quiet. Kurama's eyes narrowed. You think I do not know what a weapon feels like? Humans have called me one since before your village existed. That thing inside you is worse. Naruto flinched. The fox noticed. Good, Kurama said. Be afraid of it. Naruto's fists curled. I can't just not use it. Then use it like fire in a paper house. The words surprised him. Not because they were harsh, because they were advice. Naruto stared. Kurama snarled, as if offended by his expression. If you hollow out, brat, I am trapped inside the corpse wearing your face. I have an interest in your stupidity remaining survivable. Naruto almost smiled. Thanks, Kurama. The fox's ears twitched. Do not get familiar. But he did not correct the name. The attack came at sunset, not on the Hokage's command tent, not on the hospital, not on the shinobi checkpoints, on the academy shelter. That was how Naruto knew Suo had been right. The world had felt back. And the world had learned where to cut. The academy had become a refuge after Pain's attack. Its main structure was damaged, but still safer than many parts of the village. Iruka had volunteered to help organize the displaced children there, along with several Chunin and retired teachers. It made sense. Iruka was good with scared children. He knew how to make jokes when the world felt too large. He knew how to kneel instead of tower. He knew that sometimes a warm meal mattered more than a speech. Naruto was helping Yamato reinforce an outer barricade when the silver under his skin suddenly went ice cold. He dropped the wooden beam he was carrying. Yamato turned sharply. "Naruto?" The air tasted wrong, not chakra, not killing intent, a pull. A thin hook buried somewhere behind Naruto's ribs, tugging him toward the academy. Then he heard the first scream. He was running before Yamato finished shouting his name. Across the half-rebuilt village, smoke rose from the academy courtyard. Not black smoke. White. Mist. Naruto's feet hit a rooftop. Then another. Sage mode flared around his eyes out of reflex, but the moment he reached for deeper calm, the silver inside him scraped against his soul. He nearly stumbled. No calm, not now. He let fear stay. Let it shake. Let it make him human. The silver steadied. When Naruto reached the academy, the courtyard had become a battlefield from an old nightmare. Mist covered the ground in thick sheets. Children huddled behind a cracked wall while Chunin formed a desperate defensive line. White Zetsu bodies crawled over the fence and out of the earth, grinning with blank faces and empty eyes. And in the center of the courtyard stood two dead men. One was tall, broad, with bandages over the lower half of his face and a massive blade resting across his shoulder. Zabuza Mamachi. The other was slender, masked, and surrounded by mirrors of ice that glimmered in the mist. Naruto stopped so suddenly the roof tiles cracked under his sandals. For a second, he was 12 again. Cold bridge, rain, blood, Sasuke falling in front of him. Haku's quiet voice saying that people became truly strong when protecting someone precious. Then the future memories layered over it. Haku reanimated in war, Zabuza forced to kill again, Ito bodies moving while trapped souls cried behind their eyes. Naruto's throat tightened. No. Haku's mask turned toward him. "Naruto-kun," the voice was the same, that made it worse. Zabuza's fingers tightened around the executioner's blade. "Kid," he said, voice rough and strained, "if that's you, don't waste time talking." Naruto landed in the courtyard. The children behind the wall gasped. Iruka stood in front of them, kunai in hand, blood running down the side of his face. Naruto's eyes locked onto him. Iruka-sensei, alive, still standing. Then a white Zetsu rose behind Iruka from the cracked ground. Naruto moved. A Rasengan formed in his palm, but Haku's mirrors flashed. Needles cut across Naruto's path, forcing him to twist mid-stride. The Zetsu lunged for Iruka. Iruka turned too slowly. Silver burst from Naruto's fingers. The Zetsu froze. A thin silver line passed through its chest. Its body did not simply fall. It unraveled, white flesh burning away into pale ash as if the power rejected every cell of it. The courtyard went silent for half a breath. Then the dead attacked. Zabuza swung. Naruto ducked, the giant blade passing over his head with enough force to split the wall behind him. He drove a fist into Zabuza's stomach, but the reanimated body absorbed the blow and skidded back instead of breaking. Ito Tensei, not alive, not God tree-born. Silver would not erase them the same way it erased Zetsu. The reed offered answers from the future. Cut the control tags, disable the limbs, seal the bodies, but Naruto had no sealing team here. Only frightened children, wounded Chunin, Iruka, and two people who deserved peace more than another battlefield. Haku's mirrors surrounded him, the air chilled. "You have changed," Haku said. Naruto looked at the mirror reflections, each one holding the same masked face. "So have you." "I am sorry." The needles came from every direction. Naruto's body moved before thought. The reed unfolded. He knew this attack. Knew the angles. Knew the pattern Haku favored when forced to pressure a central target while protecting an outside objective. He had seen it once as a boy, again in war, and 100 more times in memories where Edo armies were only the beginning. Naruto slipped between needles, caught 3, threw them back, and shattered 2 mirrors. Haku reformed elsewhere. Zabuza came through the mist. Naruto turned to block. The executioner's blade stopped inches from his shoulder. Iruka had thrown a kunai wrapped with an explosive tag into the blade's path, knocking it offline just enough. "Naruto?" Uruka shouted. "Stop trying to protect everyone alone!" Naruto's chest tightened even now. Even injured, standing between children and the dead, Uruka still knew exactly what Naruto was doing. Then the courtyard wall exploded. More figures stepped through, not famous, not legendary, but wrong. Dead shinobi from old wars, their skin cracked with Edo markings, their eyes blank under Kabuto's control. Leaf, mist, stone, rain, a whole squad of reanimated corpses moving in unnatural silence. Among them, white Zetsu clung to their backs like pale growths. Naruto understood. A test. Edo Tensei bodies were not weak to silver release. White Zetsu were, so Kabuto had grafted Zetsu matter into the reanimated bodies, using them like anchors, bait, and shields at the same time. If Naruto used silver, he could destroy the Zetsu attachments. But not without touching the dead souls bound underneath. Cruel, smart, Kabuto. A laugh echoed from one of the reanimated shinobi's mouths, but the voice was not his. "Wonderful," Kabuto said. "You noticed the design?" Naruto's eyes hardened. "Show yourself." "I would rather not. Your new chakra is fascinating, but I prefer studying blades from outside their reach." The Edo shinobi opened their mouths together, speaking with Kabuto's voice in pieces. The masked man wanted speed. I wanted data, so we compromised. Uruka moved closer to the children. Kabuto's borrowed eyes shifted toward him. The academy teacher. "The first adult to acknowledge you. Did I choose correctly?" The silver inside Naruto surged. The mist around him spiraled outward. Zabuza strained against the control binding. "Kid," he growled, "don't listen to the snake." Haku's mirrors trembled. "Naruto-kun, please, stop us." Kabuto chuckled. "Yes, do stop them. I wonder what your silver does to a soul that is already tied to this world by force." Naruto froze. That was the trap, not whether he could win. Whether winning would turn him into something that stopped caring about the difference between enemy, victim, and tool. The reanimated squad charged. Naruto made clones. Dozens of them burst across the courtyard, grabbing children, pulling wounded Chunin back, blocking Zetsu claws. Uruka tried to help and nearly collapsed from blood loss. Naruto caught him with one clone. "Sensei, get back!" Uruka grabbed the clone's sleeve. "Naruto, your eyes." The clone looked away. The real Naruto stood in the center of the courtyard as Silver climbed his arms. Not enough. The Edo squad would regenerate. The Zetsu would keep targeting the children. Haku and Zabuza could not stop themselves. Kabuto was watching every move. If Naruto held back, someone would die. If he went deeper, he might stop caring who. The silver sharpened, his breathing slowed. Too calm, too controlled. The cost hit immediately. Soul stamina drained from him in a cold rush. His emotions flattened at the edges. Fear became distant. Anger became simple. Love became data, targets, threats, angles, removal. Naruto stepped forward. Silver Fang formed fully, longer than before, cleaner, colder. Zabuza charged with a roar that sounded half like rage and half like pleading. Naruto did not dodge. He cut. The executioner's blade split down the middle. Zabuza's arms went next, severed at the joints without blood, Edo dust spilling from the wounds. Naruto's foot struck his chest and drove him into the ground hard enough to crater the courtyard. Haku appeared behind Naruto. The reed had already seen it. Naruto turned and placed 2 fingers against Haku's mask. Sleep. Silver flashed. The Zetsu graft on Haku's back burned away. Haku's Edo body convulsed, momentarily freed from Kabuto's direct pressure. The mask cracked. Haku whispered, "Thank you." Then the binding pulled again. Naruto's face did not change. He moved through the reanimated squad like winter given human shape. Cut the Zetsu anchor, break the knees. Shatter the fingers before hand signs. Strike the control tag through the spine. Do not waste motion. Do not speak. Do not feel. A stone shinobi tried to grab a child. Naruto removed his arm. A rain shinobi released poison mist. Naruto cut the cloud apart with a silver arc that erased the Zetsu spores hidden inside it. A mist Kunoichi begged through Kabuto's control for someone to stop her. Naruto's blade paused for less than a heartbeat, then it struck, efficient, Merciful, cold, too cold. From the edge of the courtyard, Sakura arrived with a medic squad and froze. She had seen Naruto angry before. She had seen him wild, reckless, burning with fox chakra. This was worse. This Naruto was silent, no shouting. No promises, no fury, just silver eyes and perfect answers. Naruto? She shouted. He did not look at her. A reanimated shinobi rose behind her. Naruto threw Silver Fang. The blade crossed the courtyard as a beam of pale light passed beside Sakura's cheek and pinned the Edo body to a wall through the Zetsu growth at its chest. Sakura did not flinch from the attack. She flinched from Naruto's expression, because he looked at the saved life and the destroyed enemy with the exact same emptiness. Kabuto's laugh echoed again. "Oh, there you are!" Naruto turned slowly. The remaining Edo bodies opened their mouths. "That is the face I wanted to see." Silver pulsed harder. Naruto walked toward them. "Naruto?" Iruka shouted. No response. The Hollow King pressed closer, not taking over, not like Kurama's rage. This was worse because it felt reasonable. No more hesitation, no more speeches, no more enemies returning to hurt people twice. Kabuto targets Iruka. Remove Kabuto. Edo bodies suffer. Irrelevant. Remove the bindings. Allies afraid. Irrelevant. Fear fades when they survive. Pain should have died faster. Obito should die before he speaks. Madara should never rise. Kaguya should be cut from history. Everything dangerous should be ended before it can become a tragedy. Naruto lifted his hand. Silver release gathered above the courtyard, forming not one blade now, but a crown of thin silver spears. Sakura's eyes widened. There were still children nearby, still wounded shinobi. Still souls trapped in Edo bodies. Naruto knew. The Hollow King calculated the angle, acceptable risk. Then Iruka stepped into the center of the courtyard, right beneath the silver spears. Naruto's hand froze. The Hollow King's logic struck the obstruction and faltered. Iruka stood bleeding, exhausted and terrified, but he did not move. "Naruto," he said. The silver spears trembled. Sakura took a step forward. "Iruka-sensei, get back!" Iruka ignored her. His eyes stayed on Naruto. "I know you can hear me." Naruto's face twitched. Kabuto's voice slipped through the remaining Edo bodies. "How touching!" Iruka raised his voice. "You are not a weapon." The words hit like a kunai through fog. Naruto's fingers shook. Iruka stepped closer. "You are not whatever power woke up inside you. You are not the fox. You are not the village sphere. You are not their praise either." The silver crown flickered. Iruka's voice softened. "You are the kid who painted the Hokage monument because he wanted someone to look at him." Naruto's breath caught. "You are the kid who cried into a bowl of ramen and pretended he wasn't crying." The Hollow King recoiled. "You are my student." Silver cracked through the air. Iruka smiled, even with blood on his face. "And I'm not moving until you come back." For 1 second, Naruto saw two worlds. In one, silver spears fell and ended every threat in the courtyard. In the other, Iruka stood in front of him, trusting the boy inside the power more than the power itself. Naruto gasped. The spears shattered. Silver light rained down like harmless dust. His knees buckled. Sakura caught him before he hit the ground. The courtyard snapped back into sound, children crying, Zetsu hissing. Edo bodies reforming, Kabuto clicking his tongue through dead mouths. Disappointing, but valuable. Naruto pushed himself upright, breathing hard. His eyes were still silver, but blue fought beneath them. "No," he rasped. "You don't get to use them." He bit his thumb, blood-welled. His hands flashed through signs he had never learned in this life. The future memory guided him, not silver release, sealing. A rough battlefield seal, ugly and inefficient, but enough. He slammed his palm into the ground. Black markings spread across the courtyard like ink veins. They wrapped around the fallen Edo bodies, not destroying them, not freeing them completely, but locking them in place. Haku's body stilled. Zabuza's body stopped struggling. The reanimated squad froze one by one. Kabuto's voice sharpened. "You should not know that formula." Naruto looked up. Now there was anger in his face again, real anger, human anger. "I know lots of things I shouldn't." Sakura slammed her fist into the ground, expanding the cracks beneath the seal. Yamato arrived at last, wood pillars rising around the immobilized Edo bodies to contain them. Kakashi appeared on a rooftop, lightning already fading from his hand after cutting down the last Zetsu trying to flee. The remaining white Zetsu tried to sink into the earth. Naruto turned. This time he used only a thread of silver, small, focused, desperate, not calm. The silver passed through the ground in thin lines, burning the Zetsu out without touching the people above. One by one, the pale creatures dissolved. The courtyard fell still. Kabuto spoke once more through Haku's frozen mouth. The masked man was right to hurry. Naruto walked toward Haku, every step hurt. Kabuto continued, voice quieter now, "You are not ready for what your existence has awakened." Naruto crouched in front of Haku. Maybe not. He placed a paper seal on Haku's chest. "But I'm learning." Kakashi landed beside him. "SEAL team is coming." Naruto nodded. Zabuza's head turned slightly. The seal held him, but his eyes were his for a brief second. "Kid," Naruto looked over. Zabuza's cracked face pulled into something almost like a smile. "You got taller." Naruto laughed once, broken and soft. "Yeah," Haku's voice followed, barely there. "You are still kind." Naruto could not answer, because for a few seconds he had not been, and everyone had seen it. By the time the SEAL team arrived, the sun had fully set. The Edo bodies were contained. The children were safe. Iruka's wound had been treated. Sakura stayed near Naruto, not touching him now, but close enough that he knew she would catch him again if he fell. That helped. It also hurt. Tsunade arrived with a full Anbu escort, and one look at the courtyard told her more than any report could. Her eyes moved from the sealed Edo bodies, to the silver-burned Zetsu ash, to the frightened children, to Iruka, to Naruto. Finally, she said, "How bad?" Naruto looked at his hands. They had stopped shaking again. He hated that most of all. "Bad." Iruka stepped beside him. He came back. Tsunade's gaze softened for half a second, then she nodded. "That matters." Naruto wanted to believe her. But later, after the bodies were removed and the children relocated, after the reports were written and the guards doubled, after Sakura forced him to eat something he could barely taste, Naruto stood alone at the edge of the academy courtyard. Not completely alone. Kakashi stood behind him, quiet. Patient, Naruto did not turn. "I almost did it." Kakashi said nothing. Naruto's voice dropped. "I saw the angles. I knew some people might get hurt, maybe not die, but hurt, and for a second it felt acceptable." The word disgusted him. Acceptable? Kakashi stepped beside him. "The fact that you're horrified by that is important. What if one day I'm not?" Kakashi looked out at the ruined courtyard. "Then we remind you." Naruto laughed bitterly. "You make it sound easy. It won't be." "That honesty helped more than comfort would have," Kakashi continued. "Naruto, power doesn't only reveal what we are. Sometimes it pressures us into becoming what the battlefield rewards. You were rewarded today for being cold, fast, efficient." Naruto looked at him. Kakashi's visible eye curved slightly, but there was no humor in it. "So we make sure you are rewarded for coming back too." Naruto swallowed. "How?" Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder. "By not letting you stand alone after." For a while, neither moved. Then Naruto whispered, "Kabuto said Obito is moving faster." Kakashi's hand tightened. The masked man. Naruto nodded. "In the future he had more time, more pieces. Now he knows I'm different. Suo said my power is a beacon. Kabuto proved it." He looked toward the dark horizon. "My growth is forcing their hand." Kakashi's voice turned grave. "Then we prepare." Naruto's silver eye ring flickered faintly. It's worse than that. In his future memories, the Ten Tails had risen after the war had already swallowed the world. There had been stages, delays, mistakes. Time bought with blood. Now the memory was changing, not literally. But Naruto could feel the difference. The old road was gone. His awakening had not prevented the future. It had accelerated it, far away. Beneath the earth and beyond the reach of Konoha's sensors, Kabuto opened his real eyes. He sat in a cavern lit by pale green lamps, surrounded by coffins. Some were open, many were not. White Zetsu matter writhed in jars along the walls, reacting violently to the silver residue collected from the battlefield. Kabuto smiled, his glasses flashed. Soul stamina, he murmured. Not chakra. Fascinating. Behind him, a spiral of space twisted. Obito stepped into the cavern. You tested him. I did. You lost assets. Kabuto's smile widened. I gained answers. Obito's single visible eye hardened, and Kabuto turned toward the coffins. He can destroy Zetsu tissue. He can interrupt Edo control if he targets the grafts. His future memories give him counters to known techniques, but unknown variables destabilize him. Emotional anchors can pull him back from the silver state. Obito was silent. Kabuto lifted one finger. And most importantly, the more he uses the silver power, the more the Zetsu network can feel him. He is not simply dangerous, he is traceable. Black Zetsu emerged from the floor, expression unreadable. Then the Ten-Tails must be revived before the boy matures. Obito looked down at him. We do not have all the beasts. Black Zetsu's voice slid like oil. We have enough to begin the extraction sequence early, imperfectly. Kabuto's smile faded a little, risky. Black Zetsu looked toward the jars of writhing white flesh. So is waiting. Obito turned toward the deepest coffin chamber. The plan had been delicate once. A moon, a tree. A dream cast over the world. Now there was a silver blade growing in Konoha, one made to cut the root before it flowered. Obito's hand closed. Begin preparations. Kabuto's smile returned. As you wish. In the darkness beyond them, something vast and old seemed to stir in its sleep. And in Konoha, Naruto looked up at the moon for 1 second. He imagined it red, then he blinked, and it was only pale, only distant, only waiting. Chapter 4, 6 Paths. One route. Naruto did not sleep the night after the academy attack. He tried. Sakura threatened him. Kakashi ordered him. Tsunade used the terrifying voice that made grown shinobi remember they had bones that could be broken. Even Iruka, still bandaged from the fight, sat beside Naruto's temporary bed and told him that heroes were allowed to rest. Naruto nodded to all of them. Then he lay down, closed his eyes, and saw the moon turn red. Every time, sometimes it was the future memory, roots climbing over the world, people sleeping with peaceful smiles while their bodies were slowly drained by a dream they had not chosen. Sometimes it was worse. Sometimes it was Konoha as it was now, half-broken, crowded with refugees, children asleep under emergency blankets, and the moon opened above them like an eye. By midnight, Naruto stopped pretending. He slipped out before the guards could argue and climbed to the highest point still standing near the old Hokage monument. The faces carved into the mountain had survived Pain's assault better than most of the village. Cracks ran through them now. Stone had broken from the third's cheek. Dust lay over the fourth's carved hair. Naruto sat above his father's face and watched workers move through the village below. Konoha did not sleep either. Not really. Torches burned. Medical tents glowed. Yamato's wood clones raised temporary beams while civilian carpenters shouted measurements. Shinobi patrols moved through the streets in pairs, checking shadows, rooftops, drains, any place a white Zetsu might crawl out. Because of him. The thought landed before he could stop it. The attack on the academy had not been random. Kabuto had chosen Iruka because Iruka mattered to Naruto. The children had been bait because Naruto would never ignore them. Haku and Zabuza had been chosen because their faces carried old wounds. The silver inheritance had saved people. It had also painted targets on everyone Naruto loved. He flexed his fingers. No blade appeared. No silver aura. Only a faint ache beneath the skin, like a scar that had not fully formed yet. Soul stamina, Suo's voice lingered in his memory. Let it return with time and emotional stability. Naruto gave a humorless laugh. Great, so basically never. The air beside him stirred. Naruto stood instantly. A man in a dark, root-threaded cloak stood on the mountain slope as if he had always been there. Suo. Naruto's hand twitched toward a kunai. Suo glanced at it. If that made you feel safer, you would already be dead. Good morning to you too, Naruto muttered. It is not morning. Then what do you want? Suo looked down at the village. For once, he did not speak immediately. Konoha's torches flickered in his pale eyes. They rebuild quickly. Naruto did not lower his guard. People do that. People repeat, Suo said. Rebuilding is only noble when the foundation changes. Otherwise, it is just preparation for the next collapse. Naruto's jaw tightened. Did you come here to insult my village? No, I came because the masked man has begun the Ten-Tails extraction early. The world seemed to drop beneath Naruto's feet. What? Suo did not look at him. Obito? Madara's apprentice, the man in the orange mask. His timetable changed after your awakening. Kabuto's test confirmed enough. They will not wait for perfect conditions now. Naruto's breathing shortened. How soon? Soon enough that your Hokage's defenses will not matter. Naruto grabbed Suo's cloak. The man allowed it. Then tell me where they are. Suo looked down at Naruto's hand. If I knew exactly, I would have already sent you. Naruto released him with a shove. You expect me to believe you don't know? I know many places they might be. Not the one that matters tonight. Naruto turned away, mind racing. If the Ten-Tails extraction started early, the future memories became unreliable. In the burned timeline, the war had followed a different sequence. Different losses, different timing, different mistakes. The reed was a map of a road no longer fully there. His stomach twisted. Suo's voice cut through his thoughts. You need the Sage of Six Paths. Naruto went still. Hagoromo, Suo's eyes narrowed slightly. So the future memories did teach you his name. Naruto looked back. In that future, he helped me. Later, after things were already almost over. Then call him earlier. Naruto stared. You say that like I can just shout into the sky. You are Ashura's reincarnated will, carrying Kurama, holding foreign silver, and standing on the edge of the god tree's return. If the old ghost cannot hear you now, he deserves to be forgotten. Naruto scowled. You really don't like anyone, do you? I like useful things. That's worse. Suo turned toward the broken village again. You cannot fight what is coming with silver release alone, not without hollowing. You cannot fight it with Kurama alone, not without being swallowed by the scale of the enemy. You cannot fight it with Sage Mode alone. The God Tree predates every mountain that taught you stillness. Naruto's fists clenched. Then what am I supposed to do? Become a meeting point. Naruto frowned. Suo finally looked at him. Six Paths Chakra. Kurama's hatred turned cooperation. Silver release. Three powers that do not naturally belong together. If you force them to blend, you will break. If you let one dominate, you will become its shape. So you must become the place where they argue without killing each other. That sounds impossible. It is. Naruto glared. Suo's mouth curved faintly. Fortunately, impossible things are your specialty. Naruto opened his mouth to snap back. Then the mountain shook, not physically, spiritually. The air grew heavy. The torches below blurred. The village sounds stretched into a long, distant hum. Suo's outline wavered like smoke. Naruto staggered. What did you do? Suo looked almost satisfied. I knocked. The world vanished. Naruto fell into white. When he opened his eyes, he stood on water beneath a sky filled with stars. No village. No mountain. No moon. Only endless stillness. Naruto knew the place and did not know it. The future memories remembered a battlefield of the soul, a space between life and death where an old man had once explained bloodlines, sons, reincarnation, and a war older than the villages. But this was not that. This place felt unfinished, as if Naruto had arrived before the room was ready. A voice spoke behind him. I did not expect you so soon. Naruto turned. The old man floated above the water, seated as if on an invisible cushion. He wore the robes of a monk marked by tamo and ancient patterns. Horn-like shapes rose from his forehead. His eyes were the Rinnegan, but unlike pains, they did not feel empty. They felt tired. Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage of six paths. Naruto stared at him. The older Naruto's memories wanted to answer with respect, urgency, and old grief. The younger Naruto blurted, "You're late." Hagoromo blinked. Then, slowly, he smiled. That is a new greeting. Naruto pointed at him. You showed up in the future after everything was already falling apart. Now everything is falling apart faster, so if you're going to explain something, explain it before the moon turns into a nightmare. Hagoromo studied him, not offended, sad. I see, the future remnant is vivid. Naruto's anger faltered. You know about it. I know something foreign entered your soul at birth, Hagoromo said. I did not understand its nature. It slept beside my son's chakra, and the nine-tailed seal like a seed beneath winter soil. Naruto looked down at his reflection. For a second, three faces stared back, his own, the Hollow King's. Something silver and faceless behind them both. Hagoromo's voice softened. When Hinata Hyuga fell before you, the seed broke open. Naruto's hands curled. Don't say it like that. Forgive me. The apology was simple. That made it harder to stay angry. Naruto looked back up. Suo said, I need you. At the name, Hagoromo's expression changed, not fear. Recognition mixed with deep unease. The first root still moves. So you know him. I know of him. Naruto stepped closer. What is he? Hagoromo was silent long enough for Naruto's patience to fray. He called himself a failed beginning. That is accurate, Hagoromo said. Before my mother ate the chakra fruit, there were earlier failures. Attempts by forces beyond this world to cultivate vessels that could host the tree's hunger without being consumed by it. Suo was one such attempt. Naruto felt cold. A vessel, a root before the trunk. A living bridge between soil, chakra, and divine appetite. The water beneath Naruto's feet rippled. He's connected to the god tree? Yes, Hagoromo said, but not loyal to it. That's supposed to make me feel better. No, good, at least the old man was honest, Hagoromo continued. Suo predates my mother's reign. He survived by being incomplete, too human to become a tree, too rooted to die as a man. Since then, he has opposed the Otsutsuki and their harvests, but his methods are not kind. Naruto thought of Suo's eyes. The way he looked at people as if they were weights on a scale. Yeah, Naruto said, I noticed. He will help you destroy what threatens this world, Hagoromo said, but he may not care whether you survive the method. Naruto swallowed. The future memory of the Hollow King pressed closer. Suo's voice echoed. The root that sprouted inside you is worth cultivating or cutting out. What does he want me to become? Hagoromo's eyes lowered. A blade that can cut my mother's lineage from the root. And if that means I turn into the Hollow King, then Suo may consider the price acceptable. Naruto's stomach twisted. For a moment, the starry sky seemed too large. Then Hagoromo raised his staff. The water changed. Images rose around Naruto in rings. Pain, Zabuza, Haku, White Zetsu, Itachi, Kasame, Biju, Obito, Madara, Kaguya, not illusions. Not exactly a lesson. Hagoromo's voice deepened. You carry too many powers and too many memories. If you do not understand scale, scale will crush you. The first ring formed around Naruto's feet. Rank-and-file shinobi, genin squads, low chunin, basic white zetsu, baseline threats. Hagoromo said, those who kill through numbers, surprise, or weakness in the defender. The second ring rose, elite jonin, Akatsuki members, Deidara's clay, Sasori's puppets, Kasame's sword, Kakashi's lightning, Tsunade's fist, elite threats. A single mistake can cost a life. Skill and preparation decide survival. A third ring attaches Susanoo, a tailed beast roaring free, Kakuzu with all hearts burning, Pain's bodies moving as one. Monarch threats in lesser form. They bend battlefields around themselves. Ordinary shinobi become spectators. Naruto remembered fighting Pain, remembered how the silver inheritance had made the last 10 seconds feel unfair. Hagoromo watched him. You touched this level when the silver awakened. The fourth ring rose like a wall, Obito as the Ten-Tails vessel, Madara standing beneath the moon. 6 paths power twisting the land, truth-seeking orbs floating like perfect black death. Greater monarchs, war-ending beings, their existence changes history. Naruto's breath slowed. This was the level his outline of the future screamed about. Chapter 5, some distant part of him thought, absurdly. Then the fifth ring appeared. There was no roar, no dramatic explosion. Only silence. Kaguya stood in the water's reflection, pale and vast, her eyes cold with a loneliness so old it had become hunger. Behind her rose the god tree, roots spreading across continents, branches reaching toward stars. Dragon god, Hagoromo said quietly, using the shape Naruto's silver memories understood. A being whose power is not merely strength but origin. To fight such a thing directly is to fight the law that allowed lesser powers to exist. Naruto could not look away. In the future he had fought her, won eventually, at the cost of everything. His throat tightened. I can beat her with the full silver. Yes, Hagoromo said. Naruto looked at him sharply. The sage did not flinch. If you become the Hollow King completely, if you allow the future remnant to overwrite the boundaries of your present self, you may create a blade sharp enough to wound or even end what remains of my mother's will. The water went still. But you will not return. Naruto said nothing. Hagoromo's staff touched the water. The rings collapsed into Naruto's reflection. You must not climb to the 5th tier by becoming empty. That was the mistake of the future self. He won upward by losing inward. Naruto's voice was small. He was me. He was one ending of you. That difference mattered. Naruto held on to it. Hagoromo extended one hand. I cannot remove the silver inheritance. It came from beyond my authority. I cannot silence Kurama, nor should I. I cannot erase Ashura's will from you. It is part of the compassion that keeps you from becoming hollow. Naruto looked at the offered hand. What can you do? Teach your powers to stand in one room without devouring each other. The water under Naruto's feet darkened. A gate rose behind him, Kurama's cage. The fox appeared behind the bars, massive and furious. I did not agree to be dragged into an old monk's lecture, Kurama snarled. Hagoromo turned. Kurama, the fox went still. For the first time since Naruto had known him, Kurama looked less like a demon and more like a son caught hearing a dead father's voice. The rage did not vanish, but something ancient moved beneath it. Old man, Kurama said quietly. Naruto looked between them. The future memories knew this pain. The 10 tails split into 9, names given, a father fading, centuries of fear, humans turning living beings into weapons. Hagoromo bowed his head. I am sorry. Kurama's teeth showed. Too late. Yes. That answer stole some of the fox's anger because it did not argue. Hagoromo looked back at Naruto. The 9 tails chakra is not only hatred. It became hatred because hatred was what the world offered it. If you use it as fuel for silver release, the silver will sharpen that old wound into something monstrous. Naruto nodded slowly. But if I don't use it, I won't have enough power. Correct, Kurama growled. Then what? Hagoromo lifted his staff. A third presence entered the space. Silver light gathered beside Naruto, forming a figure, not fully human, not fully him. The Hollow King stood barefoot on the water, cloak torn, silver eye cold, face older and emptier than Naruto could bear. Kurama snarled instantly. Naruto stepped back. The Hollow King looked at him. You are wasting time. Naruto's pulse hammered. You're not real. I am what remains of a victory you have not earned yet. Hagoromo watched them both. This is not merely memory. The future self sent power, experience, and intent. Intent has shape. The Hollow King's silver gaze shifted toward Hagoromo. You know she is coming. I do. Then give him everything. I am trying to save him. The Hollow King's expression did not change. Saving him is not the objective. Saving them is. Naruto flinched, because that sounded noble, that sounded like him. That was the trap. Kurama's tails lashed. Empty brat talks like a martyr and smells like a corpse. The Hollow King looked at the fox. In my world, you died buying me 4 seconds. Kurama went silent. Naruto's chest tightened. The Hollow King continued. Kakashi died. Sakura died. Hinata died. Sasuke died, cursing me for being late. Every village fell. Every choice I hesitated over became another grave. He stepped closer. Do not repeat me by being softer. Naruto's hands shook. The words were poison because they were made from love. Hagoromo's voice cut through. Trial begins. The starry water shattered. Naruto stood on a battlefield of 3 colors. Gold on one side, Kurama's chakra, hot and furious. Green-blue on another, sage energy, alive and balanced. Silver on the third, silent, sharp, waiting. At the center stood Naruto. The trial was not a fight in the normal sense. It was worse. Kurama's chakra surged first, tempting him with force. Easy force. Familiar force. The power to smash through armies, to shield friends with giant tails, to roar so loudly fear itself backed away. Naruto reached for it. Silver reacted, the gold sharpened into blades. Kurama's anger twisted. Naruto saw himself wrapped in Silver Fox chakra, cutting through enemies and allies alike, unable to tell protection from possession. He pulled back, gasping. Sage energy came next. Stillness. Balance. Breath. Naruto reached for calm. Silver burned faster. His soul stamina drained as the silver tried to turn calm into perfect control. Perfect control into cold calculation into the Hollow King's expressionless face. He stumbled. The Hollow King spoke from across the battlefield. You see, every path leads to use. Stop fearing the shape. Naruto gritted his teeth. No, Silver rose last. It did not tempt with rage or peace. It tempted with answers, Pain's weakness, Kabuto's seal flaws, Obito's timing, Madara's arrogance, Kaguya's blind spots, 1,000 counters, 1,000 ways to win, no uncertainty. No confusion, no helplessness. Never again watching someone fall because he was too slow. Naruto reached for the silver. Hinata fell again. Uruka stepped beneath the spears again. Sakura shouted his name. Kakashi's hand rested on his shoulder. Come back. Naruto stopped. The three powers circled him like storms. He understood then, not completely, but enough. He could not make them one thing. Kurama was not silver. Sage Mode was not silver. His own heart was not a battlefield manual. He had been trying to force them to merge because strong people stacked power and became stronger. That was how Shinobi thought. Add chakra, add nature, add beast, add bloodline, add weapon, but Suo had said meeting point, Hagoromo had said one room. Naruto inhaled, not calm, not rage. A shaking breath, human. I'm scared, he said. The battlefield paused. Kurama stared. The Hollow King's eyes narrowed. Naruto looked at the gold chakra. I'm scared of losing everyone. He looked at the sage energy. I'm scared that if I stop moving, I'll feel all of it. He looked at the silver. I'm scared that the easiest way to save them is to become someone who doesn't feel anything when he does it. The three powers did not vanish. They listened. Naruto placed one hand over his stomach. Kurama, I won't use you as fuel. The fox's eyes widened slightly. Naruto turned to the living energy around him. I won't use Sage Mode to pretend I'm fine. Then he faced the silver. And I won't let you decide what saving means. The Hollow King stepped forward. You will lose. Maybe. That is unacceptable. Naruto's eyes burned blue through silver. No. What's unacceptable is winning like you did. For the first time, the Hollow King looked angry. The silver storm lunged. Kurama roared, not at Naruto, with him. Gold chakra rose behind Naruto like a shield, not a weapon. Sage energy grounded his feet, not freezing his heart, but reminding him he was alive. Silver struck the shield and splintered into threads. Naruto grabbed one thread. It cut his palm. He held it anyway, not all of it. A piece. A blade small enough to carry without becoming it. The trial ended in white light. Naruto woke on the mountain slope at dawn. He was lying on his back, staring up at the real sky. His body hurt everywhere. But the ache beneath his soul felt different, not healed, aligned. Beside him, Suo stood with his arms folded. You survived. Naruto turned his head. You sound disappointed. Curious. Naruto sat up slowly. The village below glowed under morning light. For the first time since Pain's assault, the sight did not immediately become a memory of ashes. He looked at his hand. A mark had appeared on his palm. A faint circular pattern like 6 small tamo around a thin silver line. It faded as he watched, sinking under the skin. Hagoromo's parting words echoed in him. You are not ready to become a god. Good. Stay that way. Kurama stirred inside the seal, quieter than usual. Naruto touched his stomach. You okay? The fox grunted. I hate old memories. Yeah, Naruto said. Me too. Suo watched him. What did the sage give you? Naruto stood. Not what you wanted. That is not an answer. Good. For once, Suo almost smiled. Naruto stretched his fingers. Six Paths' sage power hummed faintly beneath his normal chakra now, not fully unleashed, but accessible. Kurama's presence felt closer, though still guarded. Silver release rested like a sheathed blade instead of a knife pressed to his throat. 3 powers, 1 room, for now Suo stepped closer. You understand this does not solve your problem? I know. The Ten-Tails extraction has begun. Naruto's expression hardened. Then we stop it? You may be too late. Then we stop what comes after. Suo's eyes narrowed. That optimism will get people killed. Naruto looked at him. No, people die when someone decides they're already numbers in a plan. The air between them sharpened. For a moment, Naruto thought Suo might attack him again. Instead, Suo turned away. Hold on to that anger. You will need it when I ask for the thing you will not want to give. Naruto's stomach tightened. What thing? Suo did not answer. Of course he didn't. Below them, alarms began to ring, not one bell, all of them. Naruto and Suo looked toward the horizon at the same time. A sensory flare rose from the rebuilt command center, red and urgent. Shinobi ran through the streets. Birds scattered from broken rooftops. Then Naruto felt it, a pulse through the earth, deep, vast, hungry. Every trace of silver release in his body reacted at once, not flaring outward, but recoiling like a blade sensing the whetstone that made it necessary. Far beyond Konoha, hidden in a wasteland of broken stone and old seals, the extraction chamber split open. The tailed beast's stolen chakra twisted together in a monstrous spiral. Not complete, not stable, but enough. Obito stood before the forming husk, cloak snapping in the violent wind. Kabuto watched from a safe distance, smile strained now, even he looked nervous. Black Zetsu pressed one hand to the ground. Mother's path opens. The husk screamed, not with a mouth, with the memory of every beast torn from one source. A single eye opened in the mass. Far away, Naruto staggered. Kurama roared inside him. The sky dimmed. Across the world, Shinobi looked up as the moon began to change, not red yet, not fully. But a faint ring spread across its surface, like an eye slowly remembering how to open. Suo's voice was quiet beside Naruto. It has begun. Naruto's silver eye ring flickered. Below, Konoha's people ran for shelter. Above, the moon watched. And for the first time, Naruto felt the future he had been sent to prevent reaching back for him with both hands. Chapter 5, The Hollow King's shadow. The moon did not turn red all at once. That was somehow worse. If the sky had cracked open in a single moment, if the nightmare had simply descended, the world might have screamed and understood what was happening. Instead, the change began quietly, a ring thin and pale, almost beautiful. It spread across the moon's face like a ripple through still water, faint enough that a civilian might have mistaken it for a trick of tired eyes. But every sensor in Konoha felt the chakra beneath it. Every shinobi who had survived Pain's assault felt the pressure in their bones. Naruto felt it deeper. The silver under his skin recoiled. Kurama roared inside the seal, and in that roar Naruto heard fear, not anger pretending to be fear. Not hatred given a louder voice, fear, that scared Naruto more than the changing moon. He stood on the broken edge of Konoha with Tsunade, Kakashi, Sakura, Yamato, Shikamaru, and half a dozen exhausted captains. Around them, the village moved like a body trying to stand after being crushed. Refugees were being guided into reinforced shelters. Medical teams prepared evacuation routes. Messenger birds launched one after another toward the other villages. Too late, Naruto thought. The future memories answered with images of armies gathering under banners, alliances forged by desperation, speeches shouted across battlefields. But this was not that road anymore. Obito had moved early. Kabuto had adapted. The Ten-Tails was incomplete, unstable, and awake before the world knew what name to give it. Shikamaru spread a map across a cracked stone slab. We've confirmed abnormal chakra movement northwest of the land of fire border, he said, voice steady despite the dark circles under his eyes. Too large to be a normal army, too unstable to be a single Biju. Based on what Naruto told us, he did not finish. He did not need to. Tsunade's fist tightened. The Ten Tails. The words landed heavily. Several Jonin shifted. One whispered a prayer. Naruto stared at the mark on the map. The future memory knew that place, not exactly, but close enough. A barren stretch of broken cliffs and dead riverbeds where old battlefields overlapped and natural energy pooled strangely beneath the stone. A good place for a ritual. A bad place to be cornered. Kakashi looked at Naruto. How much time? Naruto searched the future memories. The reed did not like uncertain questions. It offered counters to techniques, battlefield habits, patterns already lived through. It did not offer comfort. Not enough, he said. Shikamaru exhaled. Troublesome. Normally, that word would have carried a lazy complaint. Now it sounded like a man looking at a mountain falling and deciding which rock to dodge first. Tsunade straightened. We mobilize everyone we can. Evacuate civilians deeper underground. Send urgent messages to the sand, cloud, mist, and stone. If the Akatsuki moved this early, they may not be ready either. They won't trust us fast enough, Shikamaru said. They don't have to trust us, Tsunade snapped. They just have to look at the moon. Naruto's eyes lifted. The ring had widened. A faint pulse passed through the sky. For 1 second, every shadow in Konoha stretched toward the horizon. Sakura stepped closer to Naruto. You're shaking. He looked down. She was right. His hands trembled at his sides, not from weakness, from restraint. The silver wanted out. It sensed the Ten Tails the way a blade sensed a throat. Every instinct the Hollow King had sent back was screaming to run forward, cut through the army, find the core, end the ritual before it could become a god, fast, cold, efficient, alone. Naruto clenched his fists. No. He whispered. Sakura heard him. She did not ask who he was talking to. That helped. A shadow detached itself from a broken wall. Suo stepped into the gathering like he had been invited. Half the Jonin drew weapons. Tsunade's eye twitched. You. Suo looked at the map. The extraction chamber is already collapsing into a battlefield. Obito will use the incomplete Ten Tails as a siege beast, not a finished god. That buys you time. Kakashi's voice was flat. And costs us how many people? Many. Naruto stepped toward him. Don't talk like that. Suo looked up. Like what? Like they're already dead. Suo's expression did not change. Some are. Silver sparked around Naruto's fingers. Tsunade moved between them. Not now. Suo turned his attention to her. If you march a conventional force at the Ten Tails, they die. If you send only Naruto, he hollows. If you delay, the moon opens further. There are no clean choices. Shikamaru's eyes narrowed. What are you suggesting? A layered assault. The alliance, if it can be called that yet, keeps the Ten Tails unstable and draws Obito's attention. Naruto strikes at the connection points when they reveal themselves. He does not sustain silver release longer than heartbeats. He does not fuse with the fox unless the battlefield is already lost. Naruto hated how much sense it made. Suo looked at him. And he accepts that not every life can be reached. Naruto's jaw clenched. No, Suo's gaze sharpened. Then you will break reaching for all of them. Naruto met his eyes. Then I'll break slower. For once, Suo had no immediate answer. The first wave left Konoha before noon. It was not an army like the future memory remembered. Not yet. It was a desperate force made of whoever could move, whoever could fight, whoever could stand without collapsing. Leaf Shinobi, Toad summons. Messengers from the sand arriving halfway through the march with Gaara's promise that help was coming. Small squads from border outposts joining along the road. Too few, too early, too scared. But they moved anyway. Naruto ran at the front with Kakashi, Sakura, and Yamato beside him. Suo moved somewhere unseen. Shikamaru coordinated from the center line. Tsunade remained behind to keep Konoha from falling apart, though every step away from her made Naruto feel like he was leaving another person he loved within reach of the curse. Kurama was silent inside him. That silence lasted until they reached the dead riverbed. Then the world shook. The Ten Tails rose beyond the cliffs. Incomplete or not, it was enormous. Its body looked wrong, as if several nightmares had been forced into one shape before they were finished growing. A massive husk of pale flesh and dark ridges. Limbs that pressed into the earth like roots and claws at the same time. A single eye opening and closing in its face, unfocused but hungry. Its tails lashed behind it, fewer and less defined than the full beast of Naruto's future, but each movement tore stone from the ground. Around it spread an army of white Zetsu, too many to count. They crawled over the cliffs, rose from cracks, poured from underground tunnels, their pale bodies twitching whenever the silver inside Naruto flickered. And above them, standing on a ridge near the beast's head, was Obito, orange mask, black cloak, one visible eye. Kakashi stopped. The world narrowed between them. Naruto felt the old grief in Kakashi before the man spoke. The future memories knew this too, the mask breaking, the name beneath it, the boy who should have died, the friend who had become a wound in the world. Kakashi's voice was barely audible. Obito? Sakura's eyes widened, Yamato stiffened. Naruto looked at the masked man, Obito tilted his head, so he told you. Kakashi's hand shook once before stilling. Why? Obito's laugh was quiet. Still asking small questions before the end of the world, Kakashi, the Ten-Tails roared. The sound hit the battlefield like a physical wave. Shinobi stumbled. Several fell to their knees. Zetsu bodies shrieked in answer. Naruto stepped forward, silver flickered in his eyes. Obito's gaze shifted to him, and there is the anomaly. Naruto's voice was low. Stop this. No, simple, cold. Naruto's teeth clenched. Obito lifted one hand. This world is already a grave pretending to breathe. I am only closing its eyes. The future memory screamed, do not let him speak too long. Do not let the battlefield become his argument. Do not let grief dress itself as mercy. Naruto pointed at him. You don't get to decide everyone's dream because yours died. The words struck. Obito's visible eye narrowed. For a second, the mask felt thinner. Then the Ten-Tails slammed one tail into the ground. The battle began. White Zetsu flooded the riverbed. Leaf Shinobi met them with fire, earth walls, lightning nets, shadow possession, explosive tags, and desperate coordination. Sakura smashed a path through the front line, each punch sending bodies flying. Kakashi moved like lightning through the chaos, cutting down Zetsu and watching Obito at the same time. Yamato tried to restrain the beast's smaller root-like limbs, but the Ten-Tails' chakra burned through his wood almost instantly. Naruto made 100 clones. The battlefield exploded with orange and black. Protect the medics, he shouted. Don't let the Zetsu touch the wounded. His clones spread, each one carrying only a thread of silver, not blades, threads, enough to burn Zetsu tissue without draining him dry. It worked for 20 seconds. Then the Ten-Tails fired its first blast. Not a full-tailed beast bomb, something rougher, unstable. A sphere of black-red chakra formed at its mouth, shaking as if the beast itself did not understand how much destruction it held. Obito lifted his hand, guiding it toward the center of the shinobi line. Naruto's blood went cold. The future memory showed him this kind of attack landing, bodies gone. Earth turned glass, names erased before anyone could scream. He moved. Kurama's chakra surged around him, golden and hot. Naruto caught it, not as fuel for silver, but as a cloak around his body. Sage energy grounded his feet. Silver formed along his palm in a narrow edge, 3 powers, one room not merged, held apart by will. He jumped. The blast fired. Naruto met it in midair. For 1 second, the entire battlefield saw him silhouetted against the monstrous sphere, golden cloak, sage eyes, silver blade drawn across his hand like moonlight. He cut the edge of the blast. Not through the whole thing, just enough. The attack split off course, screaming over the battlefield and detonating in the distant cliffs. The explosion carved a new valley into the earth. Silence followed, then the Alliance shouted, "Naruto!" The cheer rose behind him. Naruto landed hard, knees bending. The silver scraped his soul but did not devour him. Good, heartbeat use, desperation, not calm, he could do this. Then Obito appeared behind him, space twisted. A black rod drove toward Naruto's spine. Kakashi intercepted it. Lightning met metal. The two old teammates stood inches apart. Kakashi's voice shook. "Obito, stop." Obito's eye hardened. "You still think words matter?" Naruto turned, but the Ten-Tails moved again. Its roots slammed into the battlefield, not randomly now, but guided by Obito's will. Zetsu bodies latched onto the roots and became extensions of them, pale hands reaching for shinobi, dragging them toward the beast like offerings. Naruto's silver reacted violently. God tree descended. Cut, cut, cut. He formed Silver Fang. A voice inside him whispered with the Hollow King's certainty. Now, Naruto charged. He cut through the first root. It screamed, not like wood, like something alive remembering pain. Zetsu bodies dissolved in waves wherever the silver touched. Shinobi trapped in the roots fell free, coughing and terrified. Naruto moved faster. One cut, two, three, each use cost him, not chakra, something behind the heart. But people were alive because of it, so he kept going. The battlefield shifted around him. Sand rose in the distance as Gaara arrived with the first wave of Suna reinforcements. Temari's wind tore through Zetsu ranks. Kenkuro's puppets dragged wounded shinobi away. Gaara's sand caught a falling squad before the Ten-Tails' tail crushed them. "Naruto?" Gaara called. Naruto looked up. For one brief second, hope cut through the pressure. Then the Ten-Tails' eye focused, not on the army, on Naruto. The incomplete beast shuddered. Its entire body turned toward him. Suo's warning returned. A beacon. The curse carries over. The more silver release Naruto uses, the more he becomes a beacon for exactly the tier of threat his future self was fated to fight. The Ten-Tails roared and lunged. Everything on the battlefield changed. Until that moment, the beast had been a siege engine guided by Obito. Now it wanted Naruto. Its roots tore through its own Zetsu army to reach him. Its tails smashed cliffs apart. It ignored entire shinobi divisions because the silver signature had become a wound in its senses. Naruto ran, not away from the battlefield, across it. He led the beast's attention from the medics, from the exhausted leaf line, from Sakura and Kakashi and Gaara. Every step was calculation and panic. Every heartbeat, he used just enough silver to keep the Ten-Tails angry. Too much, and he would hollow. Too little, and it would turn back toward everyone else. A root burst from the ground ahead of him. Naruto cut it. Another came from the side. He jumped, spun, sliced. A third erupted beneath a group of wounded shinobi. Naruto saw them. Too far, he pushed harder. Silver Fang lengthened. The world sharpened. Danger became lines. People became positions. Threats became solutions. He hated how easy it felt. He crossed the distance and cut the root before it could close around the wounded. The shinobi scrambled free. One of them looked up at him with awe. Naruto did not feel it. That frightened him. Sakura's voice struck through the battlefield. "Naruto, breathe." He blinked. Sound returned. He had been slipping. The Hollow King stood closer now, not visible but present, like a shadow falling forward instead of behind. Then Obito made his move. The Ten-Tails slammed all its remaining limbs into the earth. Black receivers and root tendrils erupted across the battlefield in a wide pattern, spreading toward Naruto, but not aiming directly at him. The reed activated too late, because this formation had never happened in the burned timeline. Obito had changed the pattern. Suo was right. New techniques could still blindside him. "Naruto!" Kakashi shouted. The roots were not attacking Naruto. They were circling him, drawing his silver signature into a funnel, then redirecting the Ten-Tails' hunger outward. Toward the people closest to him. Sakura, Kakashi, Gaara. Iruka's support unit at the rear, and another squad arriving from the left flank, the Hyuga. Naruto's heart stopped. Hinata was not there. Still recovering, but Neji was. He moved with the Hyuga strike team, Byakugan active, palms flashing as he shut down Zetsu after Zetsu. Even from a distance, Naruto saw the exact moment Neji understood the pattern. The roots were converging on the rear medical line, on the wounded. On the people Naruto had been trying to keep the beast away from. Neji turned. "Naruto?" Naruto moved, too slow, not physically. He was fast. Faster than almost anyone there, but the battlefield had become a web, and the silver signature was the thread pulling danger across it. Every time he cut one route, two more used the opening to redirect. Every burst of silver release made the Ten Tails more certain where to strike. His power was protecting people. His power was also telling the monster where his heart was. A spike of god tree matter shot from the ground behind Sakura. Naruto threw a silver blade. It cut the spike apart. The Ten Tails recoiled. Then another spike shot toward the Hyuga formation. Naruto turned. Neji was already moving. The future memory screamed, no. In canon, a wooden spike meant for Naruto and Hinata. Here, there was no Hinata on the field, no same formation, no same moment. But the curse found a shape it recognized. A life between Naruto and a killing blow. Neji crossed the distance with impossible grace. His palms struck 3 times, deflecting smaller spikes. His body twisted around the 4th. The 5th came hidden inside the shadow of the 4th, coated in Zetsu tissue and drawn by the lingering silver Naruto had released seconds earlier. Naruto saw it. He saw the angle. He saw the answer. Full silver release. A wide arc could cut all 5 spikes and the root beneath them. It would save Neji. It might also burn through the Hyuga squad behind him and hollow Naruto deeper than he had ever gone. The Hollow King whispered to it, no hesitation, no cost too high. Naruto lifted his hand. Neji looked at him. Their eyes met across the battlefield, and Neji understood, not the whole thing, not the silver inheritance, but the choice, the risk, the fact that Naruto was about to destroy himself to save one person because he could not bear another name becoming proof that he had failed. Neji smiled, small, free. Then he moved into the strike. The spike pierced him. Naruto's scream tore across the battlefield. Silver exploded. For a second, the sky turned white. The roots around Neji disintegrated. The Zetsu matter burned away. The Ten Tails recoiled, shrieking as silver carved across its outer shell. Every shinobi on the battlefield felt the pressure of Naruto's power slam outward, not warmth, not chakra. A command, end. The Hollow King stepped forward inside him. Naruto's eyes went fully silver. The battlefield became silent. He saw everything, Obito's position. The Ten Tails' unstable chakra core, Kabuto's hidden Edo anchors at the ridge, Zetsu tunnels under the medical line, weak points, targets, solutions. He could end this, all of it. The cost no longer felt important. Sakura shouted his name. It sounded far away. Kakashi tried to reach him. Too slow. Gaara's sand rose to restrain him. Naruto cut through it without looking, not to hurt Gaara, just because it was in the way. That was the moment everyone realized. The thing standing in the center of the battlefield was still Naruto. But not only Naruto. Silver Sage mode formed around him. Not a clean transformation. A war between systems. Golden Kurama chakra wrapped his body like armor. Sage markings sharpened around his eyes. Silver veins ran through the cloak, turning parts of it pale and blade-like. His hair lifted in the violent pressure, a few strands bleaching silver at the tips. Inside the seal, Kurama roared. "Brat, stop forcing it!" Naruto did not answer. The Hollow King did, not in words, in movement. Naruto vanished. He appeared at the Ten Tails' side and drove Silver Fang into its flesh. The beast screamed. A line of silver split across its body, burning through Zetsu matter and god tree tissue. Obito staggered on the ridge, clutching his chest as the connection backlash hit him. Naruto appeared again, another cut, then another. Each strike was perfect. Too perfect. The Ten Tails thrashed, but Naruto was always where the attack was not. The reed catalogued every movement. Future memory and present instinct overlapped until the beast's size no longer mattered. For one terrifying minute, Naruto fought like a god-killer, and everyone who loved him watched in horror. Because he did not shout, he did not smile, he did not call out to them, he simply cut. Obito's voice rang across the battlefield. "So this is your answer, Naruto? Become a better weapon than me." The words reached something. Naruto paused midair. Obito stood atop the Ten Tails, mask cracked from backlash. You condemn my dream, but look at you. The moment the world hurts someone you love, you become exactly what war wants. Naruto's silver eyes fixed on him. Obito spread his arms. Power without attachment. Action without hesitation. Isn't it peaceful in there? For a second, no one moved. Then Neji coughed. The sound was small, impossible to hear across a battlefield. Naruto heard it anyway. He turned. Neji lay in Sakura's arms near the rear line, blood staining his flak jacket, Byakugan fading in and out. Sakura's hands glowed green over the wound, her face desperate. Naruto landed beside them hard enough to crack the earth. The silver cloak flickered. Sakura looked up. Naruto, help me hold him still. He stared at Neji. The Hollow King's logic offered no use for this moment. Neji was dying. The battle continued. Obito remained active. The Ten-Tails was wounded but not defeated. Efficient action required returning to combat. Instead, Naruto dropped to his knees. The silver receded by inches. Neji's eyes found him. Naruto. His voice was thin. Naruto shook his head. No, don't. Sakura can fix it. Tsunade's on the way. We can. Naruto. The second time, it stopped him. Neji looked strangely peaceful. That made Naruto angry. No, Naruto whispered. Don't look like that. Neji's mouth curved faintly. I used to think destiny was a cage. Naruto's throat closed. Neji's eyes shifted toward the battlefield, toward the shinobi still fighting, toward the roots still reaching. Then you broke mine. Naruto's hands trembled. I didn't save you. Neji's gaze returned to him. You gave me the right to choose. Hinata's words from the hospital struck Naruto again. If you blame yourself for every person who chooses to protect you, then you are saying our choices don't belong to us. Naruto bent forward, tears cutting tracks through dust on his face. Neji's hand moved weakly. Naruto caught it. Do not let my death become another chain, Neji whispered. The silver inside Naruto shook. The Hollow King pressed harder, furious now. Chains make blades stronger. Grief makes purpose clean. Cut them all down. Neji's fingers tightened once. Stay yourself. His hand went still. The battlefield did not stop. War never did. But for Naruto, the world became very quiet. Sakura's healing chakra faltered. Her eyes filled, but she kept her hands there a moment longer, as if refusing to admit what every medic knew. Kakashi landed nearby. Gaara stood behind him, sand curled protectively around the group. No one spoke. Obito watched from the ridge. Perhaps he expected Naruto to break completely. Perhaps part of him wanted it. Perhaps part of him wanted proof that every bond ended in the same place. Naruto lowered Neji's hand gently, then he stood. The silver rose again. Sakura grabbed his sleeve. Naruto. He looked down at her. For one terrifying second, his eyes were empty. Then blue flickered beneath the silver. I'm here, he said. His voice shook, but it was his. Sakura did not let go. Naruto did not pull away. That was the difference. He turned toward the battlefield with Sakura's hand still gripping his sleeve, Kakashi at his side, Gaara behind him, and hundreds of shinobi watching. The Hollow King wanted solitude. Naruto chose witnesses. Everyone, Naruto shouted. His voice cracked across the riverbed. Do not chase the Ten-Tails' roots alone. It's using my power to track what I care about. The battlefield shifted. Shikamaru's voice came through the command line almost immediately. So we change the shape of what you care about. Naruto blinked. Across the battlefield, shadow techniques linked squads. Sand walls redirected routes. Medical teams moved in patterns designed not around hiding Naruto's bonds, but multiplying them. If the beast followed what Naruto protected, then Naruto would protect everyone openly. No secret heart. No isolated target. The whole alliance became the anchor. It was reckless. It was impossible. It was exactly the kind of plan only people who trusted Naruto would attempt. Chakra began to pass through the lines, not a perfect cloak like in the future war, something rougher, improvised, leaf to sand. Jonin to genin, medics to fighters, Kakashi coordinating, Sakura stabilizing, Gaara shielding, Shikamaru guiding. Naruto felt them not as fuel as presence. The silver stopped narrowing. Kurama stirred. Brat. Naruto touched his stomach. I know, the fox growled. No, you do not. But you are closer. Golden chakra rose, not swallowing the silver, not merging fully, but wrapping the alliance in warmth. Sage energy flowed beneath it, connecting them to the living earth. Silver release formed only at the edges, small and precise, cutting roots when they reached too far. 3 powers, many hands, the Ten-Tails roared and struck. The alliance held. Naruto moved again, but this time he did not vanish alone. Kakashi opened space. Gaara lifted him with sand. Sakura cleared the landing point. Hyuga eyes called out blind spots in honor of Neji's last stand. Naruto cut only when the opening was clean. Each silver strike burned less, not because the power was weaker, because Naruto was not forcing it to be everything. Obito saw the shift too late. The Ten-Tails' unstable control points exposed themselves along its spine when it overextended toward Naruto's expanded chakra network. The reed recognized 3 of them. The 4th was new. Naruto hesitated for half a breath. Then he smiled through tears. "Shikamaru!" Left upper ridge. Shikamaru shouted back. "The new one pulses after the 3rd. Naruto trusted him. He cut. 4 silver arcs crossed the battlefield. The Ten-Tails collapsed forward, screaming as its connection to Obito destabilized. The beast did not die, not even close, but its movement faltered. Its eye rolled unfocused. Its tails slammed into the ground without direction. Obito fell to one knee. Kakashi appeared in front of him. Their eyes met. For a moment, the battlefield held its breath around 2 boys who had grown into ghosts of the same war. Kakashi did not kill him. He struck the mask. It shattered. Obito's face was revealed scarred, tired, human. Naruto landed beside Kakashi, silver fading from his eyes. Obito looked at him. There was hatred there and grief. And, buried so deep it almost no longer existed, envy. You think choosing them makes you stronger. Obito said. Naruto looked back toward Neji's body. His voice was raw. "No," he turned back. "It makes losing hurt." Obito's eye twitched. Naruto stepped closer. "But if I stop choosing people so it won't hurt, then I already lost." For a second, the maskless man had no answer. Then the ground split behind him. A black shape surged upward. Black Zetsu wrapped around Obito's body like living tar. Obito's eye widened. "What?" Black Zetsu's voice was soft with satisfaction. "Your usefulness is not finished." Naruto moved, too slow. Black Zetsu forced Obito's hands through signs. The Ten-Tails' collapsed body convulsed. A deeper chakra rose beneath the battlefield, not Obito's, not the beast's, something older, using both. Suo appeared on a distant ridge, pale, face grim. "No," Naruto looked up. The moon's ring widened. The battlefield trembled. From the Ten-Tails' wounded body, a pillar of pale light shot into the sky. Madara's laughter echoed through the earth. Not Edo, not distant, awakening. Kabuto's hidden preparation had bought enough time. Obito had weakened the seal. Black Zetsu had taken the opening. The Ten-Tails' form collapsed inward, folding around an emerging figure wrapped in ancient chakra. White hair, horns, eyes like the origin of every nightmare. For one impossible second, Naruto thought it was already Kaguya. Then the figure opened its eyes, and the arrogance was unmistakably human. Madara Uchiha, restored, empowered, smiling. "Well," Madara said, looking across the devastated battlefield, "this is earlier than expected." His gaze fell on Naruto, then on the fading silver in his hand. Madara's smile widened, and far more interesting. Naruto's body screamed from exhaustion. Neji was dead behind him. The alliance was barely standing. Obito was trapped under Black Zetsu's control. The Ten-Tails was not finished. The moon was opening, and Madara had arrived. Naruto lifted Silver Fang again, but the blade flickered weakly. Madara noticed. "Ah," he said. "A blade that cuts gods, carried by a boy who still bleeds like one." He stepped forward. The battlefield pressure changed. Obito had been tragedy. The Ten-Tails had been hunger. Madara was certainty. Naruto felt the gap immediately. Tier 4. Apex. The Hollow King inside him whispered one answer. "Go deeper." Naruto heard Neji's last words over it. "Stay yourself." His grip tightened. Kakashi stood beside him. Sakura rose behind him. Gaara's sand lifted in defense. Across the battlefield, exhausted shinobi stood again, not because they thought they could win easily. Because Naruto was still standing, Madara looked amused. Then Black Zetsu smiled from Obito's body. "Begin!" The moon pulsed. The light above the battlefield turned pale. And somewhere beneath that pale light, behind Madara's smile and Obito's broken will, something older than both of them began to open its eyes. Naruto stared upward. The future had not been stopped. It had been dragged closer. And this time, it was coming while everyone he loved was still alive enough to lose. Chapter 6. Dragon God Madara Uchiha did not walk onto the battlefield like a man joining a war. He walked like the war had been waiting for him. The ground trembled beneath his bare feet. His restored body carried the impossible pressure of the Ten-Tails, not complete enough to become what the future remembered, but more than enough to make every shinobi present feel suddenly, painfully human. Naruto felt it in his bones. The battlefield had already been torn open by the Ten-Tails. The dead riverbed had become a graveyard of broken cliffs, shattered earth, and half-burned roots. White Zetsu ash drifted through the air like dirty snow. Shinobi stood in ragged formations, exhausted and bleeding, their eyes flicking between Madara, Obito's trapped body, the wounded beast, and the moon. The moon was worse now. The pale ring across its face had widened into a faint pattern, not yet fully formed but no longer easy to deny. It looked less like a mark and more like an eyelid slowly lifting. Naruto stood at the front of the alliance with Silver Fang flickering weakly in his hand. Weakly. That was the problem. He had cut the Ten-Tails' connection points. He had burned through roots, saved squads, split attacks, and held himself back from becoming the Hollow King after Neji died. He had survived the pull. But surviving was not the same as recovering. Silver release was not chakra. His reserves did not refill because the battlefield paused for one breath. Every use carried forward. Every cut from the previous chapter was still inside him, a scraping emptiness behind his ribs. Madara looked at him and noticed immediately. "Interesting," Madara said. "Your power is not exhausted in the ordinary sense." Naruto's fingers tightened around the unstable silver blade. Madara smiled. "It is closer to a soul wound." Sakura stepped beside Naruto, fists raised. "Don't listen to him." Kakashi stood on Naruto's other side, sharing an uncovered, his gaze locked on the man who had manipulated Obito from beyond the grave. Gaara's sand shifted behind them. The alliance formed ranks. Everyone was tired. Everyone stayed. Madara's smile widened as if that pleased him. So this is the new age of shinobi. Children and corpses of broken ideals, standing shoulder to shoulder because one boy refuses to fall. Naruto lifted his chin. "You talk too much." For half a second, Madara looked genuinely delighted, then he moved. Naruto's future memories reacted with violent clarity. Madara's opening rush left faint. Right palm, sweep. Susanoo pressure if blocked, Rinnegan pull if distance opens. Naruto knew this sequence. The reed unfolded. He stepped forward, not back, slipping under the first strike and letting Kakashi's lightning blade cut the angle Madara wanted for the second. Sakura drove a fist into the ground, shattering Madara's footing. Gaara's sand rose to bind his legs. For one impossible moment, the plan worked. Madara looked down at the sand gripping his ankles, then he laughed. A blue ribcage of chakra exploded around him. Susanoo, the pressure alone threw Sakura back. Kakashi twisted away before a chakra arm crushed him. Gaara's sand hardened, cracked, and scattered. Naruto moved through the opening, Silver Fang angled at the Susanoo's weak point. The future memory knew where to cut. He struck. Silver met blue chakra. The Susanoo cracked. Madara's eyes sharpened. Naruto pushed harder. The crack widened. Then the silver blade flickered. Not from Madara's strength, from Naruto's limit. Madara saw it. His hand shot forward through the cracked Susanoo and caught Naruto by the throat. "Naruto!" Sakura shouted. Madara lifted him off the ground. Naruto's hands grabbed Madara's wrist. Kurama's chakra surged, but Naruto held it back from the silver by instinct. If he fused them now, while exhausted and angry, he might tear himself open from the inside. Madara studied his face. "You carry the scent of the sage," he said. "The beast, nature, and something else." Naruto kicked him in the chest. Madara did not move. "That something else hates the tree." Silver sparked across Naruto's fingers. Madara's smile thinned. "So it is true." He flung Naruto across the battlefield. Naruto smashed through stone and rolled hard. Sakura was already moving toward him, but a wall of wooden roots erupted between them. Not Yamato's wood, not Hashirama's. The Ten-Tail's roots. Black Zetsu, still wrapped around Obito, forced another series of hand signs. Obito's face twisted in pain. "Stop," Obito rasped. Black Zetsu's voice slid over his. "You stopped being the author of this story long ago." The wounded Ten-Tails shuddered. Madara turned toward it, annoyance crossing his face. "You are rushing the bloom." Black Zetsu smiled. "Mother has waited long enough." The name struck the battlefield like a bell no one wanted to hear. "Mother." Naruto pushed himself up. Suo appeared beside him, pale cloak snapping in the wind. For the first time since Naruto had met him, Suo looked unsettled. Naruto wiped blood from his mouth. "What's happening?" Suo's eyes stayed on the Ten-Tails. "The vessel is unstable." "Good. That doesn't sound good. It means Madara cannot fully become the final bridge." "Then why do you look like that?" Suo's jaw tightened. "Because Black Zetsu does not need perfect, he needs open." The Ten-Tails screamed. Its body collapsed inward, not like death, like birth. The massive husk folded, flesh and root and chakra spiraling into a single pale column that rose toward the moon. Madara stepped toward it, but Black Zetsu forced Obito forward at the same time. The two lines of chakra crossed. Madara's eyes widened. "Zetsu." Black Zetsu's voice became almost tender. "You were never the dreamer. You were the door." Madara tried to turn, too late. Black Zetsu's body extended, piercing through Obito's connection and into the forming column. The chakra of the Ten-Tails, Madara's stolen power, Obito's broken will, the moon's awakening pattern, and the old hunger beneath the world all snapped together. The battlefield went white. Naruto heard everyone scream. Then he heard nothing. When the light faded, Madara was gone. Obito lay collapsed on the ground, barely breathing, black residue crawling away from him like retreating oil. The Ten-Tails was gone too. In its place stood a woman. White hair flowed behind her, impossibly long, stirring without wind. Horns curved from her head. Pale robes drifted around her body like moonlight turned solid. Her skin was the color of porcelain beneath winter light. 3 eyes looked upon the battlefield, Byakugan in her face, and a red eye in her forehead that held rings and tamo like the moon had opened inside her skull. Kaguya Otsutsuki. The name did not need to be spoken. Every person on the battlefield felt it. Origin, hunger, loneliness, divinity without mercy. Naruto had seen her in the future memories. He had fought her beneath broken skies, through dimensions of ice, lava, bone, and endless gravity. He knew her attacks, her habits. Her first movement after awakening, he knew. The reed opened, then stopped. Because Kaguya looked at him and did something the future had not recorded. She smiled, not warmly, not cruelly, curiously. "A silver wound," she said. Her voice was soft, but it reached every corner of the battlefield. Naruto froze. In the burned timeline, her first words had been to her son's chakra, to the stolen power in Naruto and Sasuke, to the betrayal she believed had never ended. This was different. She had noticed the silver first. That meant the future was already broken. Kaguya lifted one hand. Naruto moved before she attacked. "Everyone down!" The air split. Not a blast, not a beam. A seam opened across the battlefield, thin and black, cutting through space itself. In the future, Naruto had never seen this opening strike. Kaguya had not needed it then. She had been slower to wake, more focused on reclaiming chakra, less threatened by silver. Now she was awake enough to improvise. The seam passed through a cliff. The upper half of the cliff slid away without sound. A dozen shinobi would have been in its path if Naruto had not shouted. Even so, 3 were too slow. Gaara's sand caught too. The third vanished from the waist down before anyone could reach him. Sakura's face went pale. Naruto's stomach turned. The Hollow King whispered immediately. Unknown technique. Increase output. Remove target. Naruto forced the voice back. Kaguya looked at the missing half of the cliff, then at Naruto. You saw before seeing. Naruto raised Silver Fang. It flickered. Kaguya's Byakugan narrowed. But your blade is tired. She vanished, not body flicker. Not speed. The world simply decided she was somewhere else. Naruto felt her behind him too late. A pale hand touched his back. Pain exploded through him, not a strike. Not chakra impact. Extraction? Kaguya pulled at every power inside him at once. Kurama, 6 paths chakra, sage energy, and the silver that did not belong to her world. Kurama roared. Naruto screamed. Sakura lunged. Kakashi threw lightning. Gaara's sand rose. All of it stopped. Gravity increased. Every shinobi in the area slammed to the ground under invisible weight. Sakura hit one knee and cracked the stone beneath her fist trying to stand. Kakashi's lightning scattered. Gaara's sand collapsed like wet earth. Naruto remained upright only because Kaguya held him. Her expression changed when she touched the silver. For the first time, there was pain. A thin silver burn appeared across her palm. Kaguya withdrew her hand. Naruto fell forward, coughing. Kaguya looked at her burned skin. Poison. Suo's voice came from the ridge. Correction. Antidote? Kaguya's head turned. The battlefield seemed to shrink around that gaze. Suo stood alone, hands at his sides. For once, his usual cold confidence looked like a mask stretched over old hatred. Kaguya stared at him. Failed root. Suo bowed slightly. Failed harvest. The air trembled. Naruto looked between them, breathing hard. You know each other. Suo did not look away from Kaguya. She knows what I was made to become. Kaguya's voice softened. You were made to feed. I refuse to ripen. Refusal is decay. Suo's cloak shifted like living roots. Then call me rot. Kaguya lifted her hand. Bone ash erupted from her palm. Naruto's future memories screamed. All-killing ash bones. He knew this. This the reed had catalogued. If the bones touched flesh, the body turned to ash. No normal defense mattered. Dodge, redirect, or seal. Naruto moved. Despite exhaustion, despite gravity still pressing on his bones, he crossed the battlefield in a silver flash and cut the first ash bone out of the air. It dissolved under Silver Fang, the contact ringing like metal struck underwater. The second aimed for Suo. Suo did not dodge. Roots burst from his own chest, pale and black-veined, catching the bone. The roots turned to ash instantly, but the rest of him survived. The third aimed at Sakura. Naruto's heart stopped, too far again. He reached for more silver. The cost hit like a knife behind the ribs. Kurama surged. Use me, brat? No, Naruto threw himself forward anyway. Sakura saw the bone coming. Instead of freezing, she smashed the ground beneath herself, blasting stone upward into a wave of debris. The ash bone pierced through it, slowed half a heartbeat. Enough. Kakashi warped the remaining distance with Kamui. The bone vanished into twisted space. Naruto landed beside Sakura, gasping. Sakura grabbed his arm. Stop trying to be everywhere. You can't let anything happen, I know. Her voice shook. But we're here too. Kaguya watched them. Her expression was unreadable. Attachments, she said. The old weakness remains. Naruto stood slowly. No, that's the part you never understood. Kaguya's third eye pulsed, the world shifted, the battlefield disappeared, heat swallowed them. Naruto landed on black rock beneath a sky of fire. Lava. The dimensions stretched in every direction, rivers of molten stone boiling below narrow platforms. The air itself burned. Shinobi who had been standing near Naruto appeared scattered across nearby rock formations. Sakura, Kakashi, Gaara, Suo, a handful of Alliance fighters, and, farther away, Obito's limp body pulled through by the same dimensional wave. Most of the army was gone, left behind, or moved elsewhere. Naruto did not know which. Panic surged. Kaguya floated above the lava, untouched by heat. This place has fewer distractions. Naruto's fingers tightened. The reed knew this dimension, mostly. In the future, she had moved him here later after testing him in ice. This order was different. The terrain still matched enough. Platforms would collapse after pressure. Lava geyser behind left flank. Gravity shift after third exchange. Portal opening near her right sleeve if pressured from below. Naruto breathed hard. He could use the knowledge, but not trust it fully. Kaguya attacked. The fight stopped being a fight and became survival. Naruto split into clones. Half moved to protect the scattered shinobi, half attacked from multiple angles. Kaguya's hair lashed out like living threads, piercing clones before they finished forming. Her palms released waves of chakra that shattered platforms. Her eyes tracked every movement except the silver. That was the only advantage. She could see chakra, she could see life. But silver release disturbed her sight like a crack in glass. Naruto used it in flashes. A silver edge to redirect hair. A silver thread to cut a portal seam. A silver spark to burn through a root-like chakra tendril reaching for Kurama. Each use hurt. Each use made Kaguya's attention sharpen, and each use made the Hollow King feel closer. The lava dimension blurred at the edges. Naruto saw another battlefield layered over it, a future one. He saw himself older alone, fighting Kaguya without allies. He saw the silver power fully unleashed, not flickering, not restrained, but endless and cold. He saw Kaguya wounded, then bleeding, then afraid. It was possible, full victory. Not sealing, not surviving, ending. Naruto stumbled. Kaguya appeared before him, her sleeve opened. A portal formed inside the fabric. New angle not catalogued. A bone shot from it toward Naruto's chest. Suo slammed into him from the side. The bone pierced Suo instead. For a second, Naruto thought it was over. All killing ash bones should have turned him to dust instantly. But Suo did not die, not completely. The bone sank into his shoulder. Pale ash spread across his cloak, then stopped as blackroot patterns crawled over the wound and trapped the decay. Suo's face twisted with pain. Naruto caught him. "Why did you?" "Because you are still needed." Suo ripped the bone from his shoulder and threw it into the lava. His arm hung uselessly, ash spreading slowly beneath the skin. Kaguya looked down at him, still incomplete. Suo smiled through pain. "Still inconvenient." Naruto helped him back. Sakura leapt beside them, already glowing with healing chakra. Suo flinched away. "Do not touch it. Your chakra will accelerate the decay." Sakura froze. Naruto stared at the spreading ash. "You're dying." Slowly. "You said you don't die like a man." "I said many useful things. Do not confuse usefulness with immortality." Kaguya lifted both hands. The lava rose. Gaara threw sand beneath the group, but the heat turned the edges to glass. Kakashi used Kamui to shift part of the flow away. Sakura punched a falling rock into a bridge for the others. Naruto watched them fight to survive in a battlefield made for gods, and the truth settled over him. They could not win this way, not through normal teamwork, not by slowly wearing Kaguya down. She was Tier 5, not just stronger, different, a being whose existence made the rules tilt. His current power could wound her, annoy her, delay her, but not finish this. Suo saw the realization on his face. "Now you understand." Naruto looked at him. No, Suo's eyes were hard. "Yes." Naruto stepped back. Suo's voice cut low, meant only for him. "The partial silver will not be enough. Six Paths, Chakra, and Kurama's cooperation will not bridge the final gap. Your bonds slow the hollowing, but they also keep the blade blunt." Naruto shook his head. "Don't. The Hollow King can win." Naruto's breath caught. Sakura looked between them. "What is he talking about?" Suo ignored her. "You know it, you saw it. The future self already proved the path. Full silver release, no restraint, no emotional drag, no hesitation. Let the future remnant overwrite your present instability, become the finished weapon." Naruto's eyes burned. And then what? Then Kaguya dies or is broken enough to seal permanently. "And me," Suo's jaw tightened, "you become what is necessary." Sakura's face went white. "No." Kakashi landed nearby. I narrowed. "Absolutely not." Gaara's sand rose protectively around Naruto. Suo looked at them with a kind of tired contempt. This is exactly why the world keeps reaching catastrophe. Everyone wants salvation without sacrifice. Naruto grabbed Suo by the collar. Neji sacrificed himself today. Suo's eyes did not soften. And did that stop her? Naruto's grip shook. Suo leaned closer. Your friend's death brought you a lesson. Honor him by using it. Do not let sentiment waste the opening. Naruto shoved him away. Silver flared wild around him. Sakura reached for his shoulder. Naruto. The dimension shifted again. Kaguya had grown tired of watching. The lava vanished. Ice replaced it. They fell onto a frozen wasteland beneath a sky of pale blue. The cold struck instantly, shocking after the lava heat. Naruto's breath steamed. Sakura stumbled. Kakashi caught Obito's body before it hit the ice. Gaara's sand moved sluggishly, half frozen at the edges. Kaguya floated above them, unharmed. I will take back what belongs to me, she said. Her hair spread across the sky like white roots. The ice beneath Naruto cracked. Hands emerged from below, not Zetsu, not human. Pale shapes made of ice and chakra, each one carrying faint impressions of faces Naruto recognized from the future. A trick. No, a new technique. Kaguya had shaped the battlefield from memories she touched while trying to extract him. The ice figures rose fully: Sasuke, Hinata, Iruka, Jiraiya, Neji. Not real, not alive, but formed with enough detail to hurt. Naruto froze. The Hollow King's answer was immediate: destroy illusions. The present Naruto could not move. Kaguya watched him. So many chains. The ice Neji stepped forward, wound still visible. Stay yourself, it whispered. Naruto's face twisted. Don't use his voice. The ice Jiraiya smiled sadly. You were too late, kid. The silver inside Naruto surged. The ice Hinata reached for him. Naruto-kun, Sakura shouted. They're not real. Naruto knew. Knowing did not help. The figures attacked. Kakashi and Sakura moved to intercept, but Kaguya's gravity pinned them again. Gaara's sand froze solid. Obito, barely conscious, coughed blood against the ice. Naruto stood alone as the faces of everyone he feared losing closed in. The Hollow King stepped into the space behind his eyes. This is why attachments weaken you. Naruto's hands shook. The ice Jiraiya lifted a Rasengan. The ice Neji raised gentle fist. The ice Hinata stepped forward with a black rod in her chest. Stop feeling. The Hollow King's voice was not loud. It did not need to be. Stop feeling and no illusion can hurt you. Naruto closed his eyes. For 1 second, he stopped resisting. Silver release flooded him. The ice figures shattered before touching him, not broken, erased. The entire wasteland cracked outward from Naruto's feet. Silver light climbed his body in sharp, branching lines. His golden Kurama cloak flickered and began turning pale at the edges. Sage markings stretched, no longer balanced but blade-like. Sakura screamed his name. Naruto did not hear her. He stood in a dark space inside himself, not the seal. Not Hagoromo's trial, a place beneath both. The Hollow King waited there, older Naruto, silver-haired, hollow-eyed, cloak torn by years that had not happened yet. Behind him stretched the end of the burned timeline, a world under the red moon, broken roots, dead gods, silence. The Hollow King looked at Naruto without pity. You finally understand. Naruto wanted to deny it. He could not. Kaguya was too strong. The battlefield was changing too fast. The reed had limits. Silver Sage mode nearly broke him. Neji was dead. Everyone else could still die. The Hollow King extended a hand. I can end this. Naruto stared at the hand. It was his own, older and colder, at the cost of everything I am. At the cost of hesitation, the Hollow King said. At the cost of fear. At the cost of the part of you that keeps asking permission from a world that will die while you decide. Images appeared around them. Kaguya sealed beneath silver chains. Obito freed from black Zetsu and dead before he could be used again. Madara erased from the cycle. Zetsu burned from every root beneath the world. The moon clear, the alliance alive. Sakura breathing, Kakashi standing, Hinata waking in a village that survived. Naruto saw it all, a clean victory. Then the image shifted. He stood after the battle, silver hair, empty eyes. Everyone alive, but silent around him. Sakura reaching out and stopping before touching his arm. Hinata looking at him with heartbreak instead of fear, which was somehow worse. Kakashi saying his name like a question. Kurama behind the seal, quiet because there was nothing left to argue with. Naruto living on as a perfect answer to every threat and a stranger to every person he had saved. The Hollow King's voice softened. "They will live." Naruto trembled. "That's not enough." "It was more than I had." The words hit like a wound. For the first time, Naruto saw the Hollow King not as a monster, but as a version of himself who had lost so much that emptiness became mercy. A boy who had wanted to save everyone and learned, too late, that winning after love was gone did not bring love back. Naruto's eyes burned. "I'm sorry." The Hollow King stared. Naruto stepped closer. "I'm sorry you had to become this." No answer. "I'm sorry nobody pulled you back." The Hollow King's face tightened, barely, "But I'm not going to become you. You will lose." Naruto looked at the visions of his friends. "Maybe." The Hollow King's silver aura rose like a storm. "Then you will watch them die." Naruto's voice broke. "I know." That was the truth. No heroic speech could erase it. Choosing not to become the Hollow King did not guarantee victory. It did not promise everyone lived. It did not undo Neji's death or make the next loss impossible. It only meant he refused to kill himself early and call the corpse a protector. The Hollow King's hand remained extended. Outside, in the ice dimension, Naruto's transformation continued. Silver climbed his face. Sakura crawled across the ice against crushing gravity, fingers bleeding. "Naruto?" Kakashi forced himself up on one knee. "Come back." Gaara's sand cracked free inch by inch. Kurama roared from inside the seal, not with hatred now, but command. "Brat, do not hand me a hollow cage." Suo watched from the edge of the ice, ash spreading down his arm. His face was unreadable, but his eyes were fixed on Naruto like a man watching a weapon decide whether to remain a boy. Kaguya raised her hand. A final ash bone formed. This one was larger, darker, wrapped in dimension-breaking chakra, a killing shot. Naruto, half-transformed, lifted his silver blade. The Hollow King inside him whispered, "Take my hand." The silver light rose, the ice cracked beneath him. His friends reached for him. The Moon Eye watched from beyond dimensions. And Naruto Uzumaki stood at the threshold between saving the world and losing himself forever. His hand moved toward the Hollow King, toward the future that had already won once. The chapter ends before anyone can tell whether he is reaching to accept the hand or push it away. Chapter 7, the cycle he broke. Naruto reached for the Hollow King's hand. For one silent, terrible second, every part of him wanted to take it, not because he wanted power, not because he wanted to become cold, because the Hollow King was offering the one thing Naruto had never been able to stop wanting: certainty. No more arriving late, no more watching Hinata fall, no more seeing Jiraiya die in memories he could not change. No more Neji smiling like death was just another choice he had made freely. No more battlefield full of people he loved standing one mistake away from being gone forever. The Hollow King's hand waited in front of him, pale and steady. The future version of Naruto looked almost peaceful now. That was the cruelest part. He did not look evil. He looked tired. He looked like someone who had carried grief so long that emptiness had started to feel like rest. "Take it," the Hollow King said. "End the danger before it can take them." Around them, the darkness shifted, images flashed again. Kaguya sealed beneath silver chains, the moon clearing, the alliance alive, Konoha rebuilt, Sakura breathing, Kakashi standing, Hinata waking, Iruka smiling, Kurama free of the Ten-Tail's pull. Every image was a knife because every image was possible. All Naruto had to do was stop being soft enough to hurt. His fingers brushed the Hollow King's. Outside, in the ice dimension, silver crawled higher across Naruto's face. His golden cloak bleached at the edges. Sage markings sharpened into jagged lines. The air around him screamed with pressure. Sakura dragged herself across the ice beneath Kaguya's gravity, fingers bleeding, eyes fixed on him. "Naruto?" Kakashi forced one knee under him, trembling under the weight. Gaara's sand cracked its way free. Grain by grain, Kurama roared behind the seal. Suo watched, ash spreading down his arm, expression unreadable. Above them, Kaguya's killing bone formed completely, a spear of pale death. The Hollow King's hand closed around Naruto's, and Naruto gripped back. The older Naruto's silver eyes narrowed. Then Naruto smiled through tears. "Thank you." For the first time, the Hollow King looked confused. Naruto tightened his hold. For surviving long enough to send this back. The darkness trembled. The Hollow King's face hardened. "This is not gratitude. This is choice." "I know. Then choose correctly." Naruto stepped closer. "I am." He did not pull the Hollow King into himself. He did not let the Hollow King pull him forward. Instead, Naruto used their joined hands as an anchor and shoved. The older Naruto staggered. The silver storm around them cracked. The Hollow King stared at him, and for the first time, anger broke through the empty mask. "You will lose them." Naruto's voice shook. "Maybe you will be late. Maybe you will regret this." Naruto's tears fell freely now. "I already regret so much." The Hollow King's silver aura surged. Naruto did not let go. "But I won't make their lives into proof that I should stop feeling. I won't turn their love into a cage, and I won't become a world-ending weapon just because the world keeps asking me to." The darkness split. A sound entered the inner space. Sakura's voice. "Naruto?" Then Kakashi's. "Come back." Gaara's. "You are not alone." Kurama's roar followed, deeper than all of them. "Brat!" The Hollow King looked past Naruto. For a moment, the older version of him seemed to hear what his world had lost. Not strategy, not mission, not victory, voices. Hands reaching before the ending. Naruto stepped back. The Hollow King did not follow. His face shifted, barely, like ice cracking under sunlight. "You do not have enough power," he said. Naruto wiped his face. "I know." The Hollow King's voice lowered. "Then what do you have?" Naruto looked toward the voices. "People." He opened his eyes. The ice dimension roared back. Kaguya's ash bone launched. Naruto's half-hollow transformation shattered outward in a burst of silver fragments. The silver did not vanish. It tore free from his skin like broken glass, spinning around him in wild arcs. He was falling, not physically, spiritually. Then Sakura hit him, not with a punch, with both arms. She slammed into him from the side, wrapping one arm around his chest and driving her heel into the ice to hold him in place. "Naruto, you idiot!" she shouted into his ear. "You don't get to leave us behind and call it saving." Kakashi appeared behind him, one hand gripping Naruto's shoulder, the other raised toward the incoming bone. Gaara's sand wrapped around Naruto's waist, not restraining him like an enemy, but holding him like a lifeline. Kurama's golden chakra erupted from Naruto's body, forming massive tails that curled around the group. The ash bone struck. Naruto lifted one hand, not full silver release, not Hollow King. A thin silver edge formed across his palm, trembling, imperfect, alive. Kakashi warped the point of the bone with Kamui. Gaara's sand shifted the angle. Sakura drove chakra into Naruto's back to keep him upright. Kurama's cloak absorbed the shock. Naruto cut, the ash bone split, half vanished into Kamui, half dissolved into silver dust. The impact threw them all backward across the ice, but nobody turned to ash, nobody disappeared. Naruto gasped, collapsing to one knee. Sakura still held his shoulder. Kakashi still had a hand on his back. Gaara's sand still circled him. Kurama's chakra still burned around them. Kaguya stared. For the first time, there was no curiosity in her face. There was irritation. "You refuse completion." Naruto looked up, breathing hard. "Yeah, you are made of stolen fragments." Naruto's fingers dug into the ice. "Maybe. Beast, sage, silver wound, human weakness." Naruto stood slowly. His legs shook. Sakura moved like she was going to support him, but he raised one hand, not to stop her from helping, to show he could stand while she stayed beside him. "You keep calling it weakness," Naruto said. "That's why you don't understand why you keep losing to it." Kaguya's third eye pulsed. The ice beneath them cracked. Portals opened around her, dozens of black seams leading into lava, acid, gravity, sand, and darkness. New angles, new attacks, things the reed had never seen. The future map was burning in Naruto's mind. It could not save him now. Good. He was tired of being saved by a dead road. Naruto glanced at Kakashi. "Sensei." Kakashi's eye curved faintly. Improvising, Naruto smiled weakly. "Always." Kakashi sighed. "Troublesome. You've been spending too much time with Shikamaru." A black portal opened behind Sakura. Kaguya's hair shot out. Sakura spun and punched through the ice beneath her feet, throwing up a wall of frozen shards. The hair pierced them, slowed, and Gaara's sand sealed around it. Naruto cut the trapped hair with a silver thread before Kaguya could pull it back. Another portal opened above Kakashi. He vanished with a body flicker, reappearing beside Obito's collapsed form. Obito's eyes opened halfway. His breathing was shallow. Black Zetsu's residue still clung to his arm like rot. Kakashi looked down at him. "Can you move?" Obito laughed weakly. "Nice to see you too, Kakashi. Can you move?" Obito's gaze drifted to Kaguya, then to Naruto, then to the moon pattern pulsing above the dimension. "I can open one more door." Kakashi understood immediately. "To where?" Obito coughed. "The other half." Kakashi's expression tightened. Naruto heard them through Kurama's chakra. "The other half." A memory stirred. Black hair, dark eyes. A bond that had broken, burned, and refused to die. Sasuke. In the burned future, Sasuke had fought beside him at the end. They had been too late together. They had won too late together. They had argued even under the red moon because some bonds survived by refusing to become easy. Naruto's chest tightened. "He's alive." Obito's mouth twisted. For now. Kaguya moved, no warning, no readable pattern. She appeared before Naruto, palm raised toward his forehead. Naruto did not dodge in time. Suo did. The first root rose between them from the ice itself, pale roots erupting around his body. Kaguya's palm struck his chest. The ice dimension shook. Suo's body arched. Kaguya's hand sank into him, pulling at something ancient and tangled. "Failed root," she whispered. "Still reaching upward." Suo's face twisted, but he grabbed her wrist. No. Roots burst from his back, stabbing into the ice, into the air, into the black portals around them. They did not attack Kaguya's body. They attacked her connection, dimension to dimension, tree to moon. God to root. Kaguya's eyes widened. Naruto saw it then. Suo had never been just a man. He was a leftover bridge, a failed vessel of the harvest. A root that refused to become a trunk but never stopped touching the soil beneath the world, and now he was using that connection against her. "Sakura!" Naruto shouted. "Kakashi! Gaara! Hold the portals!" They moved without asking why. Sakura smashed ice pillars into the unstable openings, forcing their edges to hold. Gaara's sand, carried through Kurama's chakra, wrapped the portals like seals. Kakashi warped the most dangerous seams away from the group. Suo looked at Naruto. His pale face was cracking. Ash from the killing bone spread down one side of his body. Kaguya's chakra burned through the other. "You wanted a third option," Suo said. Naruto's throat tightened. "Don't." Suo smiled faintly. It was not kind, but it was almost human. "This is it." Kaguya tried to pull away. Suo held on. "Use the silver through me," he said. Naruto's eyes widened. "No. It will follow the root path. It will wound her connection to the tree, not merely her body. You'll die." "I have been failing to die for centuries." "That's not funny." It was not a joke. Naruto's hands shook. Suo's voice sharpened. "Listen carefully. You cannot cut Kaguya down like the Hollow King. You cannot overpower Origin. But if you burn the silver inheritance through the first root, you can make her sealable." Kaguya's expression darkened. Silence. Her hair lashed toward Suo's throat. Sakura intercepted it with a punch that shattered the ice beneath her. He said, "Talk." Naruto stared at Suo. All this time, Suo had spoken of sacrifice like math. Lives as prices, hearts as weaknesses. He had pushed Naruto toward becoming a weapon because a weapon was useful. But now he was the one standing in front of the blade. Naruto hated him a little for that. He respected him a little too. Suo's eyes narrowed. "Do not waste this because you dislike the shape of the gift," Naruto's voice broke. "I'm tired of people dying to make me stronger." "Then do not make my death about you." The words hit hard. Suo's roots spread wider, forcing Kaguya's portals open, pinning her connection in place. Make it about ending the harvest. Naruto closed his eyes. Inside him, the Hollow King stood in silence, no longer reaching, no longer commanding, just watching. Naruto spoke inwardly. I need the silver. The Hollow King answered, Take it! No, not like that. The older Naruto studied him. Naruto extended his hand. Help me finish the mission, then rest. For a long moment, the Hollow King did not move. Then, slowly, he placed his palm against Naruto's, not to overwrite him, to release. The silver inside Naruto changed. It stopped clawing upward, stopped trying to become a crown. For the first time, it flowed like something willing to end. The reed unfolded one final time, not as dominance, as farewell. Every battle, every death, every lesson the future self had carried back. All of it gathered into one clear path. Naruto opened his eyes. They were blue ringed with silver, not swallowed, ringed. Kurama's chakra rose around him. Brat, the fox growled. This will burn it out. Naruto nodded. I know. All of it, I know. Kurama was silent for a second. Then he bared his teeth in something that was almost a grin. Good. I was getting tired of sharing my cage. Naruto smiled. Thanks, Kurama. Do not thank me while doing something stupid. Too late. Naruto stepped forward. Sakura grabbed his hand. He looked at her. She did not say don't go. She said, come back after. Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder. Gaara's sand touched his back like a steadying palm. Across the battlefield, through Obito's half-open kamui, chakra signatures flared, the alliance, still fighting, still alive, still reaching. And one sharp, familiar presence arrived like lightning cutting through night. Sasuke Uchiha stepped out of the warped space beside Kakashi, cloak torn, sword in hand, one eye burning with new power that had not been there before. He looked at Naruto. Do I even want to know? Naruto almost laughed. Sasuke. Sasuke glanced at Kaguya, Suo, the portals, the silver light, and the moon pattern. His expression remained flat. You look terrible. Naruto grinned through exhaustion. You too. Sasuke's mouth twitched once, then his gaze sharpened. Hagoromo explained enough. We seal her together? Naruto nodded. Together. Kaguya's face twisted with old fury. Again, she whispered. My son's shadows again. Naruto stepped forward. No, Sasuke raised his sword. We're not your sons. Sakura cracked her knuckles beside them. Kakashi lifted his kunai. Gaara's sand rose. Kurama's chakra flared. Naruto looked at Kaguya. We're everyone you tried to turn into roots. Then he drove Silver Fang into Suo's chest, not as an attack, as a channel. Suo gasped. Silver light burst through his root network. The entire dimension screamed. Kaguya arched backward as silver traveled through the first root's connection and into the ancient pathways binding her to the god tree, the moon, the 10 tails, and the stolen chakra beneath the world. It did not kill her. It did something worse to a god. It made her reachable. Her impossible pressure faltered. Her portals collapsed one by one. The red eye in her forehead flickered. Kaguya shrieked, and for the first time the sound was not divine. It was afraid. Naruto felt the silver inheritance burning away. The reed went first. Techniques vanished from perfect clarity into ordinary memory. Counters he had never earned in this life dissolved like writing washed from paper. Then silver release itself began to fade. The blade in his hand grew brighter and thinner. His silver eye ring cracked. A streak of his hair turned pale from root to tip. Inside him, the Hollow King stood beneath the red moon one final time. The moon behind him cleared. The older Naruto looked younger now, less empty. Protect them while you can still feel it, he said. Naruto's throat tightened. I will. The Hollow King closed his eyes and was gone. Naruto screamed as the last of the silver burned through Suo's roots. Suo's body began to crumble into pale ash and dark seeds of light. Kaguya fell. Sasuke? I know. Sasuke appeared on one side of her, Rinnegan blazing. Naruto moved on the other. 6 paths chakra roaring through his palm where silver had been, they struck together. Not with enough power to dominate her, with enough connection to seal what the silver had made vulnerable. Sakura, refusing to be left out of the final moment, launched herself upward from a pillar of Gaara's sand and drove her fist down, forcing Kaguya's head into the ceiling path. Kakashi warped away the final ash bone. Gaara held the collapsing dimension steady for 3 impossible seconds. Kurama poured chakra through Naruto's spine, not as a weapon, but as trust. The seal closed. Kaguya's eyes widened. For one breath, Naruto saw not a goddess, not a monster, but a lonely being who had mistaken possession for love and control for safety, until the whole world became something to harvest. Then the light took her. The ice dimension shattered. Everyone fell back into the dead riverbed beneath the real sky. The moon flashed white, then the red pattern vanished. For several seconds, no one moved. The Ten-Tail's husk collapsed into dust. The god tree roots blackened and withdrew into the earth. White Zetsu bodies across the battlefield dissolved without a sound. Black Zetsu tried to crawl from a crack near Obito's body. A final silver spark flickered from Naruto's palm. Tiny, almost nothing, he looked at it. Black Zetsu froze. Naruto flicked the spark. It touched the black thing. Zetsu's scream was small and furious. Then it was gone. The silver vanished with it. Naruto stared at his empty hand. He reached inward. No blade answered. No future map unfolded. No cold certainty waited. Only chakra, Kurama, sage energy. Pain, grief, hunger, fear, love. Himself. His knees buckled. Sakura caught him before he hit the ground. This time he let her. Across the battlefield, the Alliance began to understand. The moon was normal. Kaguya was sealed. The roots were gone. The war had ended before it became the future Naruto remembered. A cheer started somewhere, then another, then another. But Naruto did not hear it clearly. He was looking at the place where Suo had stood. Only a small patch of pale roots remained, curled into the cracked earth like the bones of a dead tree. At the center was a single dark seed. It pulsed once, then went still. Naruto did not know whether that meant Suo was dead, sleeping, or finally free. For once, he decided not to chase the answer. Some things were allowed to end without becoming another mission. Sasuke stood nearby, watching him. "So," Sasuke said, "you lost the strange power." Naruto looked at his hand again. "Yeah, the future memories too. Most of the battle stuff. Some memories stayed." Sasuke studied him. "You're weaker now." Naruto smiled tiredly. "Probably." Sasuke looked away. "Good." Naruto blinked. "What? You were annoying enough before?" For half a second, Naruto stared. Then he laughed. It hurt. His ribs protested. His throat burned. Tears came with it before he could stop them, but it was laughter. Sakura sat beside him and cried openly, pretending she was not. Kakashi looked up at the clean moon with his visible eye closed. Gaara bowed his head in quiet relief. Kurama settled inside the seal, grumbling about idiots and impossible brats, but his chakra stayed warm. Obito lay a short distance away, alive but broken, staring at the sky. Kakashi went to him. Naruto did not listen to their conversation. That was theirs. Instead, he looked toward Neji's covered body. The laughter faded. He stood with Sakura's help and walked to him. The battlefield quieted around Naruto as he knelt. "I didn't let it become a chain," Naruto whispered. The wind moved gently over the cloth. "I wanted to. I almost did." His hand trembled, but I came back. Sakura knelt beside him. Kakashi stood behind him. Gaara, Sasuke, and the others remained close, not crowding, not leaving. Naruto bowed his head. "Thank you." Days later, Konoha began rebuilding again, not because everything was fine. Nothing was fine. The village had lost too much. The world had seen too much. The other nations wanted answers. The elders wanted reports. The historians wanted names for powers nobody understood. Some shinobi looked at Naruto's silver hair streak and whispered, but the whispers were different now. Not demon, not weapon, not god, survivor. Naruto stood at the village gate one morning with his hands in his pockets, staring at the road beyond. His hair was still mostly blonde, but one streak above his right temple had turned silver and refused every attempt Sakura made to dye it. One eye sometimes caught the light strangely, a faint pale ring appearing when he was emotional. That was all that remained. No silver fang, no reed, No Hollow King waiting behind his eyes. The Ragna fragment, whatever it had truly been, had finished its mission and gone quiet forever. Maybe it had been a curse. Maybe it had been inheritance. Maybe it had been one lonely future self throwing a blade backward through time and praying the boy who caught it would know when to put it down. Naruto liked that version best. Hinata found him at the gate. She was walking slowly, still recovering, but she was standing. That was enough to make his chest ache. "Naruto-kun," he turned. For a second he could only stare, then he smiled. "Hey," she smiled back. "You're leaving?" "Just walking," he said. "Couldn't sleep." Hinata looked toward the road. "Can I come?" Naruto blinked. "You should rest." "I will," she said. After walking a little, he almost argued, then he remembered her choices belonged to her, so he nodded. They walked together through the rebuilt edge of Konoha, past workers raising beams, children chasing each other around piles of lumber, and shinobi pretending not to watch them. After a while, Hinata said, "Your hair looks nice." Naruto touched the silver streak. "Really?" "Sakura says it makes me look dramatic." Hinata smiled. "It does," he groaned. "Great." They stopped where the road curved and the Hokage monument came into view. The stone faces were still cracked, still standing. Naruto looked up at them. Once, he had wanted to become Hokage so everyone would acknowledge him. Then he had wanted to become strong enough that no one could ignore him. Then, for one terrifying moment, he had almost become strong enough that no one could stop him. Now he looked at the mountain and understood something simpler. The Hokage was not the strongest person who stood above everyone. The Hokage was the person who came back, again and again, to the village, to the people, to himself. Hinata looked at him quietly. "What are you thinking?" Naruto smiled. "That I'm still going to be Hokage." Her smile warmed. "I know." He laughed. Below them, Konoha breathed, damaged, grieving, alive. Naruto Uzumaki stood beneath the morning sun with no silver blade, no perfect future memories, and no god-killing certainty left in his hands. Only a dream, only bonds. Only the stubborn, impossible belief that love did not have to become a weapon to matter. Far beneath the earth, in a place no censor could reach, the dark seed Suo had left behind cracked once. A tiny pale root touched the soil, then stopped. Not growing, not feeding, just resting. And somewhere beyond time, beneath a moon that was no longer red, the Hollow King finally closed his eyes. The cycle was broken. Not because Naruto became strong enough to dominate it. Because when the world offered him emptiness as the price of victory, he chose to remain someone who could still hurt, someone who could still laugh, someone who could still walk home. And for the first time in any timeline, that was enough.